Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. And yes, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Hold on, I got my thing messed up. There we go. All right, now we are set. A little bit off on that one. We have fixed it, so now we're better. There we go. All right, so a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. It is an AMA day. Yes, it is. And ask me anything. But as always, I know I try to do this usually on Saturdays, sometimes on Fridays, to give people the opportunity to just ask any questions so that even if you're not a member, you kind of get a bit more access, which is what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm glad that is working. I always want to start with something though. And today I want to start with something that is, I know some of you are like, Larry, you've been all about war these last couple of days. I have been the entire week. It's true, I have. And this is related, stretch though, right? I got my special shirt on, support our troops, bring them home, help them heal. Yes. Wearing my merch, as you might see. Hold on. See, it is actually Sharpe merch. It is actually merch. So yes. And I do care about our troops, and that's what today's show is kind of about, but in a different way. It's about men. I have been talking about men leaving the workforce, men leaving society in general. I've been talking about this for a long time, and it affects everything. Men leaving the workforce, men leaving society affects business. It affects the people who we can hire and how we hire them. It affects our war if we're going to go fight in Iraq or Iran or wherever we're going in Ukraine. These men, many of them who checked out, they're not joining the military. Why would they? Many of them can't because they either have mental issues or they're overweight. They don't even qualify. So we're not going to have that. So the men that we do send and to die and be broken and battered, they're the men we need here in the country to help build our country, right? So that's the next piece. It affects love, right? If you're a woman, you might go, hey, I'm a woman. Why do I care if men are in trouble? Well, what if you want to find a man, right? Well, if there's less of them because they're going up to fight some stupid war and that those who are here have checked out, don't want a job, don't want anything. Well, you don't want those men because they don't want anything. They don't want you. So nobody is happy there. And if you're like, well, I care about migration, migrants and stuff. Well, the big business is going to bring all the migrants in because the American men don't want to do anything. They want to walk away, right? So this affects every aspect. AI, right? Well, we can lose all the jobs. The men don't care. They're not going to fight and stand with you to defend your rights for AI or whatever. They don't care. They don't have jobs anyway. This affects every aspect, whatever part of this country you care about. If it's not for you, maybe you have children, maybe you have grandchildren, nieces, nephews, people in your world that you care about, that you would like to, have relationships and such. All of this matters when millions of men check out. You've heard Mike Rowe talk about it. I've been chatting this up for over a year, and now it's everywhere. Why do I bring this up? Because recently, a guy who is basically a career coach type guy, relatively popular, he did a video on this, and the New York Times did. Yes, I tell you things, then 6 months to a year later, mainstream goes, that guy Larry was right, without giving me any credit whatsoever. But it's fine. Doesn't matter. Don't care. I'm going to show you this one piece, which I think is very interesting, particularly for those of you trying to get a job, which many of you now are going to start, because considering AI is taking away all the damn jobs. This is one thing I think you may enjoy. This guy's pretty savvy. I've watched this stuff before. I've been a career coach in the past. If you can, check out my other sites. I have that too. But listen to what this guy's talking about.
Why are men leaving the workforce? And why is that a problem? Let's start with the numbers. Right now, over 7 million prime working age men in the United States aren't working, and they aren't even looking for work.
Over 7 million aren't working and aren't even looking for work. That's 7 million men in theory who could be joining the military if we were going to do some wars, whatever. They're not. That's 7 million men who could be having a family with somebody. They're not. That's 7 million men who could be in a relationship with some woman who wants a relationship. They're not. That's 7 million men who could be doing hard jobs that the country needs. They're not. That's 7 million men who could be standing up for our rights and fighting for. They're not. They're not. 7 million men who could be putting something, who could be starting businesses, who could be doing things that matter. They're not. 7 million. This is 7 million. Look at this.
That's nearly 1 out of every 9 men between the ages of 25 and 54.
I want to be clear. This is not just young men. This is 1 in every 9 men between the ages of 25 and 54. Do you understand what a crisis this is? I'm not just talking trash because I'm bored. I'm not just, yeah, you care about men and not women. No, that's not the issue. This affects everybody. There are literally millions of women between the ages of 25 and 54 who would really like to have a man, and those men aren't there. And that makes it worse for everybody.
And before anybody jumps to conclusions, no, they're not all just lazy. It's a little bit more complicated than that. So let's break this down. We've outsourced, automated, and restructured entire industries over the past 30 years.
True.
And as you know, the employment pendulum swinging back and forth is a bit like whiplash, especially over the last few years. Of course, today, the job market is decidedly in favor of the employer and not the employee. And jobs that used to provide...
And until recently, very much in favor of the woman, right? You look at the people who are hiring, HR filled with women, right? So it was really set for women. With AI, that's going away. AI is destroying women, female jobs. I did a whole show on that. AI is crushing women. So now it's come back. So now all these men are checked out. Well, all these women are going to be checked out next. This is not a good thing.
A solid middle-class income for men without necessarily requiring college degrees, thinking manufacturing, construction, even some management positions in logistics, have either dried up or they have...
Someone mentioned I was on the wrong mic. Thank you, Violetta. I swapped mics. Hope that's better. Thank you. I do have different mics, so I did screw it up. Thank you for that. I hope this is better sounding.
Turned into a low-paying grind fest with no benefits and no clear path of promotion. And with companies increasingly looking to outsource, offshore, even replace workers with AI and technical and data fields in particular, working age men are finding it difficult to get a foothold in their careers. Then we have credential creep. You want to work in operations, logistics, even project management. You used to be able to work your way up in an organization, but now you need a bachelor's degree just to get past the applicant tracking system.
And this is, and you're going to be mad at me, but I don't care. This is because women in HR. I'm not joking. This is the reason. Because they're the ones who write all of these things. How do I know this? Because if you look at 2 areas that are heavily male dominated, one is startup techs and a second startup finance. In those 2, they don't give a shit about your credentials. Means nothing. They don't care at all. I've been telling those who've been watching me, I mentioned this 10 years ago. I said in startup tech, a master's degree, this is 10, 15 years ago, was a no hire. They would go, nope. Oh, master's? No. Master's? Garbage. PhD? Garbage. You're not getting hired. Now, those are in heavily male-dominated startups. Now, that hasn't reached the rest of the world yet, but that's about to. Because this idea of being credentialed means zero. It has no value. It just makes things bad. But women are heavily credentialed, and they respect credentials, and they're full of HR. But these departments that are small don't have HR departments. They're male-dominated. They don't care. So that's why they're growing while the other places are starting to fail.
And let's face it, for many of these jobs, the degree is simply a barrier to entry. And not really a necessity.
At all.
A lot of men are highly skilled, highly capable, yet they get disqualified at the application level. And it's all because they don't have the right piece of paper. And I'm sure a lot of you can imagine, or probably have even experienced, having 15 years of hands-on experience and still getting ghosted because you didn't finish college. Seems pretty ridiculous, but honestly, I've personally seen this happen more times than I can count, and it absolutely takes a toll.
Hey, good. How you doing? Before we get into anything, I do have an update for you I wanted to share. I'm going to be putting my resignation in. Yeah. So I'm actually starting a business with my wife. Oh, wow. What are you going to do? Yeah, we are going to be selling vintage handbags. Thanks. All right. See ya.
This stuff is terrible. Terrible. I'm just being forward with you. You're like, what? Isn't this great, Larry and Sharpe? No, because this makes everyone think we can all just become entrepreneurs tomorrow. This guy's going to cover it in a second. And don't be wrong. You can become an entrepreneur. I'm not against people becoming entrepreneurs at all. I'm one. I of course, absolutely. But it's not this easy. It takes a lot of skill. Yeah, it's not this easy at all. So Kintsugi in the house. She says, I shouldn't experience our education. Should, but doesn't. I'm sorry. Should, but doesn't in bureaucracy. Remember, when bureaucracies exist, bigger businesses, results don't matter anymore. You might go, Larry, that's not, no, that's true. The bigger the bureaucracy, the less results matter, right? The more checking a box matters. That's why government's all about checking boxes, because government's the biggest business on the planet. That's why it's not about results at all. It's all about checking boxes. The bureaucracy is critical for the sake of the bureaucracy. That's how that works. Smaller companies care about that. That's why smaller companies go, oh no, Kintsugi's experienced. I want her. She can do stuff. I want that. I don't care if she got some piece of paper. Doesn't mean anything to me. So smaller businesses think the way you think, Kintsugi. Larger ones, bureaucracy is all that matters. All right. Did I miss it? Is it going? Okay, there we go.
Now, let's be honest. Every single time I make a video like this, there are people in the peanut gallery who say, it's time to start your own business. Just leave the workforce and do your own thing. But social media has sold us a fantasy.
True.
Now everybody is a founder. We're into drop shipping. We're into day trading.
I see it all the time. I love when I go to someone and I see a business card. It goes founder, CEO, and president of. I'm like, oh, so you don't have a job? Like, you're not impressing anybody. For all of you who've done that, just understand, you're not impressing anybody. You're not. You're not. Right? I'm the founder, CEO, and president of more than one company, and I tell nobody that because nobody gives a shit. That's silly. That's you pumping yourself up. Don't say that. I give myself a title. My title is managing director. That's it. That's my title. If you ever see my title is managing director. That's it. And you can decide whatever that means to you any way you want, and nobody cares anyway. And it's because I own my own company. That's it. All companies. I actually have more than one. Doesn't matter. I give myself that title. I don't go, I'm the founder, creator, CEO, president, COO, chairman of the board, and you should be impressed. You're not. And nobody of any status is impressed. So don't fool yourself. But he's right. People do it all the time. I'm the founder of blah, blah, blah. No, here, I'm the founder of JS Inc. What's your name? John Smith? Oh, so it's just you all the time. I'm not mad at you for doing it. Right? You want to do it, go ahead. But you don't need to give yourself seven titles in your business card and think you're impressing somebody. Anyone you're impressing, you don't care if you impress. I'm just being forward. Duke of Facts, thank you for the $5, my friend. It's frowned upon to be masculine these days. True. Men are told they're broken, not worthy relationships in this new gynocentric society. Men hate it. So I checked out. I agree. The problem you have here is if you look at the 1%, the 1% is absolutely, clearly, and obviously dominated by men. Of course, that's true. That's true. Add on top of the second thing, for thousands of years, women have been second-class citizens, if not property. That's true. There's no doubt both of those two things. But if you're a woman now and you're mad at the patriarchy, what you're really mad at is the 1%, right? I get it. The 1%'s been screwing us for a long time. I understand that. So you're really mad at the 1%, but you're calling it the patriarchy. It's not really the patriarchy. It's the 1% that is the patriarchy. So who are you punishing? Everyone down here. So you women who are mad at the patriarchy yelling at men, you ain't yelling at the 1%. They can't hear you. They don't care about you anyway. You know, the guys like me and Duke, we're not the 1%. We're not screwing you. We're getting screwed by them too. You yell at the wrong people. Yell at them. I get it. I'm going to yell. I'll be with you. We'll go together and go yell at them. I'm totally fine with that. I literally was at Occupy Wall Street. I was physically there. I get it. But now many women, I don't want to get to all, please come after me, but many women are mad at the patriarchy. So they're mad at the 1%. And they're taking it out on the average guy in the street. What the hell did he do? Got nothing to do with it. He's getting screwed just like you. Just like you, he's getting screwed. So you're right. So now all of a sudden, those are the guys who get mad. Masculinity's bad. But here's the worst part. That's not actually true. Masculinity's bad if you're not my boyfriend or husband or my guy I want to be with. Then masculinity is awesome. But outside of that, it's bad. So yeah, it's kind of that. You guys just saw Duke do a great thing. He actually did a super chat. Guys, if you want to super chat me, we can on YouTube, or you can rant me on Rumble. It goes right to the front. I pick those up right away. So if you want to get up right away, please do that. It's always good. If you want to follow me, please follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. That's awesome. If you want to help out, though, of course, you can always share or repost this. If you don't share or repost this, you hate men. Why do you hate men? Don't hate men. Share or repost this. Otherwise, you hate men. So I'm just saying, those you didn't, you just proving you hate men. Or you can also, the other thing, you click the like button. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Click that button. If you don't click that button, you hate women too. So you hate men and you hate women. You're a bad person if you don't click the like button. Click the like button and all is forgiven. It's that simple. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. And it doesn't matter if you in the past have hated men and women. It's all forgiven. So very easy to do that. Please take care of that. I know I bug you because it matters. Thanks. All right, let's keep going now. I got slow internet tonight. What's going on now? Come on now. You can go. You can do it.
We're into reselling. We're into coaching. We're into starting YouTube channels. And hey, I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I totally get it. But statistically speaking, most small businesses fail within the first 5 years.
By 80%.
Listen, I speak with direct experience. It's tough. It's isolating.
It is.
And a lot of people
and lonely
aren't built for the grind that comes with running a real
True.
business. The fantasy doesn't always match the reality of it. And when you factor in the long hours, the tax burdens, the high cost of insurance, if you haven't shopped for health insurance on your own.
When my first business I started failed, it was 2 years in, and I sold it off. Luckily, I was able to sell it off. Most people can't even sell a business off. I hated my business at the end of it by the time I figured out that. I call that my MBA. My first failed business, I call that my MBA. That's when I learned how to do that. That was the piece, right? At the end of that, I just told a story recently. At the end of that 2 years, it took me about 1.5 years to become profitable. I knew how to sell. I didn't know how to run a business. No idea. So this is 24, 23 years ago. So I knew how to sell. I didn't know how to run a business. So when you're just a sales rep, the company has already set up the infrastructure. So when you make sales, you make money, right? They've set it up. Well, I didn't do that. I had no idea. So I'm selling stuff, and end of the month, I got no money. Wait a minute. That can't work. You sell stuff, you make money. That's how it works, right? Well, no, that is absolutely not how it works. There's so much more. For those of you who run businesses or been involved, you know, there is so much more involved than just selling stuff and making money. A lot more. I figured all that out the hard way by getting my ass kicked for 1.5 years. And when I finally made it profitable, it took me 1.5 years, 2 years to make this thing profitable. I didn't want it anymore. So I sold it off. I was like, and the guy who bought it didn't have the cash I wanted. So I was like, dude, I want this amount of money. He's like, I don't have it. I said, all right. Look, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to get up in the morning anymore. I don't want this anymore. Divide it by 6, pay me, over 6 months, a check every month for 6 months, and we'll call it even. He's like, really? So yeah, no interest, just what I wanted, divided by 6, pay over 6 months. We did it on a handshake, and I gave him everything. I do not at all think you should ever do that. That is a terrible idea. But I tell you, I did it because I didn't care. The guy paid me every month for 6 months. I got all my money on a handshake. He could have blown me off. He just said, I don't know what you're talking about. But he did. So anyway, interesting story. I get that completely.
When you'll be in for a real surprise, the idea of running your own business does lose its luster relatively quickly. Not to mention, you always got to worry about where your next paycheck is coming from. And that's often easier said than done. So what happens? The guy, out of frustration, leaves his job to chase the side hustle dream.
Correct.
It doesn't pan out.
Yep.
And then he feels too embarrassed or defeated to rejoin the traditional workforce.
And not just that. Not only does he feel embarrassed and defeated, but now his resume is broken. And now you have people who are literally, and they're usually 20-something-year-old women who are initially looking at these resumes, and they see a gap. And when they see a gap, they go, oh no, gone. In any big business, you got to go to small business at this point. There's no way. That's why you see me constantly push for small business. Big business has systems. You look at that and you go, oh no, gap, no. If they see more, and now with the AI, if the AI sees more than a 3-month gap, that's put the second tier. There has to be a reason for that. They assume, 3 months, you went to prison. I'm not joking. They make all kind of excuses. You can't have a gap more than 3 months. And if and I'll go one step further. If you put the dates and they can verify the dates are more than 3 months off, that's considered lying. Correct. So if you put, I just feel used to working. If you put April of whatever, 2015, and it was actually October of 2015, according to them, you just lied on your resume. Yes. Or say you said it was April, but there's a mistake in the HR of the company you went to. And I think we got rid of him in October. Oh, more than 3 months? You just lied. Yeah. So, wow. Internet's slow tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Of course, pride that we all have tends to kick in.
I just realized it doesn't matter how early I go to sleep. I just don't want to go to work. I could have gone to bed at 8 p.m., did yoga, drank tea, I had my soul cleansed by a monk. It doesn't matter. When that alarm hits, I'm still waking up like I just got hit by a tranquilizer dart.
And here's the worst part. Good looking young man. I'm sure there's tons of women who would love to, have a relation with him. I'm sure there's tons of women who want a relation with this man. He's a good looking man, smart, right? Talks well, whatever. I'm sure lots of women would want to have a relationship with him. But the guy's not going to have a job in a minute. And he's being broken. So any woman who goes out with him is going to be disappointed. So he's going to wind up checking out. So women lose this guy. He represents thousands upon thousands of young men that lots of women would love that relationship with him. He's going to be checked out. 3 months from now, this guy's in front of a computer playing video games.
I suddenly never felt so tired in my life. And I'm not tired. I'm rebelling. This isn't fatigue.
He's got some emotional intelligence. Women love that. There's tons of women who love the relationship with this guy. He's going to be out of the market.
This is a protest against responsibility.
Now let's talk about burnout and mental health. This one is huge. Burnout isn't just a buzzword.
All right, I'm going to bail at this point, but you get the point, right? You get the point what I'm talking about. I have one more I'm going to show you later, but you guys get the point what I'm talking about. This is a big deal. This is affecting so much, right? My BA lady over on Rumble says the acronym is NEAT. That is true. That comes from Japan because this is global. This is global. NEAT stands for not in education, employment, or training. That's what it is. NEET, not in education, employment, or training. Nothing. They're just out. They're just out. This is happening in Korea, China. Yes, in China they call it like laying down. They have a phrase. They call it men laying down. Here in America, they also call it MGTOW. Yes, MGTOW. Men going their own way. This is happening everywhere. It is happening all over. It is a problem. I gave you a bunch of reasons. Shelly says, I have 2 daughters who have temporarily checked out so that they can understand codependency before dating again. It's not just the men. Yes, well, of course, if you're a woman and you can't find good men, you get tired too. I keep saying this. This is a men's issue, but it affects everybody. It affects employers. It affects governments. It affects women. Yes. If you're a woman going looking for men and you can't find him, you find a guy like that, you go, oh, that's a good looking guy. He seems nice. I'm gonna hang out with him. And he's like, I'm just gonna go and leave and I'm not gonna go work anymore. What woman wants that? I don't mean to be cruel. I'm just being honest. A woman's like, oh, great. I got a guy who's given up on life. I can't wait to date him. No, she's gonna leave. And she's gonna feel bad. I thought I had a good man, and I don't. Of course she's gonna feel bad. Of course she's gonna check out. What else is she gonna do? And here's the worst part. Now you got some men who are savvy men, right? Men who do have stuff going on. And they say, oh my God, I got the pick of the litter. I can date any woman I want, anytime I want. I can have 2, 3 women. They don't care. Why would I settle down when I can have 3, 4 women? Why would I could pick up them left and right. Why would I bother? And like, if you live in a big city like me, New York, I live in New York City, obviously, for you guys who don't know. If you live in any big city, whether that's Charlotte or Atlanta, New York, LA, Vegas, Vegas isn't that big, Phoenix, any big city, you see men like this. Men who got everything going on and would never commit. Why? They just get a new one. They got tons of hot, beautiful, amazing chicks all around them who all want them. So they just share them. And some of them, I know them here in New York. They do it openly. It's not even hiding. They're like, you can date me, but I'm dating other people. And I'm like, okay. Because they got no other option. It's what you say, Shelly. They check out. That's the option. They take option, check out. I'm done. I'm gone. Or they go, fine, I'll share a man. I just want to have a man for a little bit. I'll just share one because I can't get a good one. So I have an option. Check out. And some do that. And so, well, fine. I'll just share one for a while. We're seeing it everywhere. I completely agree. It's a big problem. Duke, back up again. He says, entrepreneurship is the only way for me. Hustle is all that matters here. Internet makes it easy to sell products, services. Being employed sucks. And this is both good and bad, Duke. I agree with you. And I got to say, I have had a similar issue. What I mean by that, it makes it easy to just work all the time and just not be concerned about anything else. And it's a problem, but it's good and it's bad, right? It means that if you are a lonely man and you're by yourself, you can just throw yourself into work 24/7. I have been there. I've been there. right? We just want to work all the time. And you're not mad. Like, it doesn't, like, to your point, you're not mad about this, Duke. Most men aren't. And women have trouble understanding that. When men get shunned by women of society, they just focus on work. That's all they do, focus on work. And they just work all the time. And they work a lot. They make some money. They do cool things. They play video games. They enjoy with their friends. And their culture and their friendships become business partnerships. You owe your friends your business associates. Owe your friends who you play online with. And that's all your friends. That's your friends. That's your stuff. You're happy. And you just keep moving. And life just moves on until one day you drop dead and you're fine. This is what's happening. The problem is initially men were hurt more than women with this. Now the reverse is true. Now women are hurting more than men. How do I know this? Because I'm going to show you something in a second to prove this. But yes, right now we're seeing this is now beginning to hurt women more because men have responded effectively. You're seeing it now happening. That wasn't true 10 years ago. You see the data about, oh, men are all bad if they don't get married. That was true. That is no longer true. Even that's changing. It's the women now who are hurting. The women who are all on psychotropic drugs, women who are on depressive drugs, women are being devastated by this. This is not only hurting men. I keep saying it. It's also hurting women. It is hurting everybody. You can't have men check out. It's hurting everybody. Yes. Duke says, oddly enough, I'd rather work 12 hours for me than 8 hours for somebody else. Duke, let me correct that. That's not actually true. You'd rather work 24 hours for yourself than 8 hours for a boss. But Duke, here's what I know for sure. If you had a family member that you cared about, that you loved, that respected you, you would happily work 24 hours for them. Because you're a man, that's how it works. The problem is the person around most of us, the people don't respect you. So you go, well, I'm not working for you then. I don't care. People in general don't mind being led. Most people are happy being led. If, and there are two important pieces. It's a massive if. It's a huge if. The biggest if you can imagine. It's a huge if. And the if is, do you respect the leader and does the leader respect you? If those two things, both of them are true, most people are like, fine, I don't mind having a leader. I don't mind being led. I'm happy being led if, again, massive if, those two things are true. You respect the leader and the leader respects you. Then it's like, fine, boss, what are we doing? Let's go. What's our next step? We doing this? Let's go. What's our next step? All right, I'm in. You're happy to be led. Again, two things are true. Sadly, in most business relationships, those two things are not true. And that's the issue. And when you find it, Duke, when you find a world to where both you respect your leader and the leader respects you, we're happy. We like it. We're good with that. Respect's the critical aspect. In most businesses, you don't have that. And that's the bigger problem. So, but second piece, if the people, your family, if your family loves and respects you, you will give them all of your money. All of it. You won't care. You'll give it all because they love and respect you. It's the problem when they start to not love or not respect you. When you go, what am I doing this for? No, I'm done. No, I'm done. And social media makes that both harder and easier. So thank you for those comments, brother. I really appreciate it. I really do. All right, let me grab a couple more of these before I go to the next piece I want to bring up, which is that was the business side. There was a second side I wanted to bring up too from the New York Times. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Kim says, a friend has a 31-year-old grandson who's pretty much checked out. Yep. He lives for his 8-year-old dog that's not in good health, threatens to put an end to it all. They fear the only reason he's alive is his dogs. Yeah, because the dog respects him and loves him and he feels needed. One of the most important pieces here is men need to feel needed. And for years, we have been told that we're not needed. You hear it all the time. You've heard me say it here on the show. I hear it all the time from women, all the time. I don't need a man. I want a man. And that may be true. In fact, in many cases, it actually is. I mean, in today's world, women can do whatever they want. Many of them make more money than men. It's true. But here's, if you're a woman now listening and you are looking for a relationship with a male, the last thing you want to say is, I don't need a man. I don't need a relationship. Don't say that. Even if it's true, just don't say it. You don't have to announce everything. You don't have to announce it. If you announce it, what he will hear is, you don't respect men. You don't need me. I'm not valuable. So one or two things will happen. If he thinks you're hot enough, he'll try to sleep with you first, then leave you. If he doesn't, he'll just leave you. Usually you just get ghosted. And it's because you said that. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying don't say it out loud. You don't have to. It's an important piece. Men hear it differently. I know women think they're showing how cool they are or whatever. I hear it all the time. I've heard this constantly. Women tell me all the time, no, Larry, you don't understand. A man needs an equal partner. A man needs somebody on his level. No, he doesn't. Please stop that stupid shit. I don't know who keeps telling you that. It is not true. It is not true. It is shit made up by women. It is not true. Women want somebody on the level or above. Men don't care. It doesn't mean they don't want it. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll keep saying it. If a man likes you, he doesn't care if you're a server or if you own the restaurant. It's not a bad thing. Women go, oh, they don't want you to have power. No, he just doesn't care. He's happy for you if you're happy. If owning the restaurant makes you happy, awesome. If being a server makes you happy, awesome. All good. He doesn't care either way. It's totally fine. That's the issue. Mike says, if you tell a generation of men they're unwanted and then teach the same, can we be surprised that men either withdrawn, poor imitations of women, or hyper-violent with no control? You're not wrong, Mike. You're not wrong. Yes, you're not wrong. He goes on to say, once again, it's the leftist social experiment that has failed with consequences no one was prepared for. Again, both true. And the answer from the left is to double down, throw them at the issue, blame everyone else. No lies detected. It's true. The problem is, though, to be forward, the right hasn't been much better. It's just sat there. It's just sat there. It hasn't been much better. And then we wonder why guys like Andrew Tate, I'm not an Andrew Tate fan. I'm not. But you guys, I will still tell truth. Why is he got any power at all? He should have none. He has tons. Why? Because what Mike just said. When you have nothing else, when people have a no answer or a bad answer, they take the bad answer. So yeah, so I wanted to put a bunch of that up there if I could. All righty. Matt goes on. Oh, this is a little bit different. That's okay. Larry, last week you said if you're not doing full keto, it's bad for you. Does that mean if you eat lots of fat and now fats aren't healthy anymore and actually harmful? Oh, yeah. Yes. What I basically mean is if your body is not in ketosis, if it's not in ketosis, it's not burning the fat. So you're just eating extra calories for nothing. Yes, you're eating too many calories. That's what I mean, right? You don't want to be eating tons of fat and tons of stuff if you're not burning it, right? And ketosis allows you to do that. So yes, that's what I meant. So don't eat lots of that stuff. Go to Mediterranean diet or go to keto. Either one are good. They're both good. I prefer keto. It's where I've been forever. So yes. All right, let me grab this next piece if I could. This is from a New York Times article. And this is, the name of this article is Men, Where Have You Gone? Please Come Back. This is from like this week. This is a very recent article. Again, New York Times. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls for this and curated personas, dabbling and scrolling. We miss you. Do you? I mean, do you? And I don't mean to be cruel, but I'm not sure that they do. What I mean by that, this is the New York Times article, and here it's being read.
May 17th, a warm Saturday night in Wicker Park, a vibrant stretch of Chicago where 7 restaurants crowd a single block.
Again, big city. Big cities, it's worse than anything. It is terrible.
Troy and I were having dinner at Mama Delia, one of the quieter spots. The sidewalk patio held 5 tables, 3 two-tops, including ours, and a pair pulled together for a group of 8 women. At those tables, Troy was the only man.
This is a common sight in most big cities. In fact, if you notice, if some of you may know this, the club scene's being destroyed, just going away. All over Atlanta, gone. London, gone. New York, gone. Chicago, gone. They're all leaving. They're all going away. Why? Men don't go out anymore. Why bother? They don't go out anymore. Women go for the hottest guys, ignore the average guys. The average guys go out there, spend money, get dissed. Women are mean to them, horrible to them, and they are. So men go, why bother? I'm going to sit here and spend all this money so I can get scolded? I'll go back online. It's fine. Why stay here? They don't bother going anymore. It's all collapsing. You go out to places, what do you see? 3-to-1 women to men. There's a whole thing. If you go check it online, check out dating events, singles events. 10-to-1 women to men. I'm not joking. Some places none. And this is all over. This is America. This is Japan. This is China. This is everywhere. It's a big deal. Men can't check out. We have to do something about this. We have to take action on this.
The scene was beautiful. Low lights, shared plates, shoulders angled in. The kind of evening people wait for all winter.
No, the kind of evening women wait for. Men want to make women happy. They want to make women happy. And when they can't make the woman happy, they stop.
Still, I found myself watching the crowd as it moved past us. Women walking in pairs or alone, dressed with care. At table after table at the nearby restaurants, there was a noticeable absence.
The dress with care piece I want to bring up. It's an important piece. Women are getting dressed with care, lots of time, money, and energy into their look. And they care what their other friends think about them, not what the man thinks. And then they wonder why the man's uninterested.
Of men, at least of men seated in what looked like dates. Troy and I have known each other for almost 20 years. We met at Playboy, of all places, back when we were both learning how desire gets packaged, sold, and sometimes misunderstood.
Now, she's been through this. She worked at Playboy, right? She understands how things are sold. She understands this. She's worked through this. That's the issue.
We stayed close friends, bonded not just by our opinions, but by the effort it takes to stay in someone's life.
Bonded by opinions.
That night, we made the effort.
Why?
Still, what I saw unfolding around us felt like something else entirely. A collective shift I couldn't unsee.
What's your shift?
It started to become clear the previous April, when a man who had been pursuing me canceled a dinner at the last minute. There was a scheduling mix-up with his son's game. I understood. I'm a hockey mom. I get it. Still, I went. I wore what I would have worn anyway.
So she went out anyway. Okay, so some guy canceled and she goes out anyway. Okay.
I took the table, I ordered well, and I watched the room.
Because she's a boss, babe. Good for you. Good for you.
Only 2 tables nearby seemed to hold actual dates. The rest were groups of women, or women alone, each one occupying her space with quiet confidence.
This is the part that bothers me. She uses all of, this goes back to what Mike just said. And you hear me do it in the opposite way. When I am trying to, when I'm trying to get the left to be more libertarian, and I try all the time, I use left words. I try to speak the language of the left. When I try to get the right to be more libertarian, I try to use right-leaning words because I want the right to hear me. I try to use the words of the people I'm talking to. I try to. Some of you get mad when I use the buzzwords, right? You know, why you? Because I want them to hear me, right? Why do I say gun control is racist versus unconstitutional? Because the right already hates gun control. It doesn't matter. The left does. What's a buzzword for lefts? Racism. So that's what I use, right? I use the words that get the other side to understand, to hear me. When I'm trying to talk to women, I try to use words that they understand. She's writing for the New York Times. She's worried about men. And she's talking like women. She's actually talking to women. This is why I said months ago, Democratic Party cannot bother trying to get men. They cannot. They don't know how. They have no idea how. They can't stop talking, to Mike's point, like leftists. They can't stop. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be left. If you're left, you're left. I'm not mad at you for being left. But if you're trying to turn me or bring me, stop talking like a feminist. That's what turned me off. Speak to me like I'm a man, like you want me to understand. They're sitting there with quiet confidence. Shut up, they're alone. Shut up. Men go out alone all the time. We go out to get a bar. That's not special. That's just being an adult. That's just being a human being. I went out and ate by myself. Oh, quiet confidence. How stupid is that? I'm not trying to be flippant. But this is like, you're awesome because you went out by yourself. Men do it all the time, every goddamn day. So, it's a quiet confidence. You went to get something to eat and you got dressed up. Okay. But she has to use the buzzwords to make the woman feel good. She's confident. Nobody cares. I don't need to be mean. You will hear women say the same thing all the time. Men need a confident woman. It's a horse shit you made up. It's not true. We don't care. We don't care. It's good if you're confident. If you don't, we don't care. We just don't care. It's not a thing that matters. Women want a confident man. Men don't care. Men will. I'll give you the example I always give. Always give. Jay-Z would have picked up Beyonce if she was on the fries at Burger King. He still would have picked her up because she's amazing and awesome. He would have picked her up anyway. Doesn't matter. No way Beyonce picks up Jay-Z if he's on the fries at McDonald's, at Burger King. No way. No way. Jay-Z doesn't care if she's confident. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. It's a bonus. It's good. We're not mad at you for it. It just isn't the thing we care about. Women care about it. You can hear our language. She's broken already.
Drinking, no waiting, no apologizing.
No apologizing.
That night marked something.
For what?
Not a heartbreak, but an unveiling. A sense that what I'd been experiencing wasn't just personal misalignment. It was something broader.
So what I was experiencing wasn't my fault. I've done nothing wrong.
Cultural. A slow vanishing of presence. I spent over a decade behind the curtain of digital desire. As the custodian of records for Playboy and its affiliated hardcore properties, including sites like Spice TV, I was responsible for some of the most infringed upon adult content in the world.
True.
I worked closely with copyright attorneys and marketing teams to understand exactly what it took to get a man to pay for content he could easily find for free.
So she had watched men. She had been someone who got men to pay for spicy content, right? I get it. But the problem that we have with that is that obviously turned her mind on men. So she thought all those men are that way.
We knew what worked. We knew how to frame a face, a gesture, a moment of implication, just enough to ignite fantasy and open a wallet. I came to understand, in exact terms, what cues tempt the average 18 to 36-year-old cis het.
That's what she was doing. She uses the word cis heterosexual. Why would you use those terms? She uses the term cis heterosexual. Again, the left love those terms. Who are you talking to? And there's the sad part. This is New York Times. This is what you hear me all the time say. The left is very good at expressing the problem. They are. You see it here. She's right. The problem is there. She's expressing it. They're very good at that. Their solutions are garbage. They don't even know how to communicate well. Why? The second you use the phrase cis, the right goes, shut up. Men go, stop talking. I'm not joking. I heard, I was like, oh, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear it. Just say men. It's okay. We're not mad at it. You don't have to make everything happy for the Alphabet Community Police. You don't have to. It just drives, I know, it drives me crazy. It does. All right, let me keep going.
Heterosexual man. What drew him in? What kept him coming back? It wasn't intimacy. It wasn't mutuality. It was access to simulation. Clean, fast, and frictionless. In that world, there's no need for conversation.
Yep.
No effort, no curiosity, no reciprocity. No one's feelings to consider, no vulnerability to navigate.
Note what she's doing here. She's saying now men don't have to do all these things. See, men are lazy. This is the attack on men. So she's still blaming men. Instead of saying, we have a problem, she still has to blame men. This is why it's not going to work. You can't just blame the person who's hurting. This is literally victim blaming, right? But if that was reversed, you'd go crazy.
Just a closed loop of consumption. What struck me most wasn't the extremity of the content.
No, what
was it? It was the
the
emotional vacancy behind it.
See, you
the drift. The way many men had quietly withdrawn from intimacy and vulnerability, not with violence or resistance.
Nope.
But with indifference.
Yes, not caring.
They weren't sitting across from someone on a Saturday night trying to connect.
Nope.
They were scrolling, dabbling, disappearing behind firewalls, filters, and curated personas. And while they disappeared, women continued to gather.
See, women were still great. Okay, but if the men don't want the women, right? Basic marketing. If the men don't want the women, maybe the women aren't marketing effectively. Clearly, the men aren't marketing effectively because women don't want them, so they're not marketing effectively. They walked away. They said, all right, okay, I can't get what I want. I'm walking away. Isn't this two sides or no?
To tend, to notice who wasn't arriving,
see, women
and to show up anyway.
They showed up because they're brave. Something and brave.
I'm 54. I've been dating since the mid-'80s, been married, been a mother, gotten divorced, had many relationships long.
No. She divorced her husband. She didn't get divorced. She was unhappy and divorced her husband, and now mad.
And short. I remember when part of heterosexual male culture involved showing up with a woman to signal something.
Yes.
Status, success,
Yes.
desirability.
Yes. True. That she's not wrong. She's not wrong. There was a time when you had to have a hot woman on your side because that showed that you were an awesome guy because you got the hot woman. That was true. 100%. You don't like that, though.
Women were once signifiers of value,
True.
even to other men.
Yes, she's 100% correct. To this day, that's still kind of true. There's still some truth to that. There still is.
It wasn't always healthy, but it meant
It was healthy, but she had to say that. Why did you have to?
that men had to show up and put in some effort.
Men had to put in effort. See, men won't put in effort. There is literally no responsibility for women whatsoever.
That
None.
dynamic has quietly collapsed. We have moved into an era where many men no longer seek women to impress other men or to connect across difference.
Yes.
They perform elsewhere,
Yes.
alone.
Alone. Why? Why is this only one-sided?
They've filtered us out.
Yep.
I
Yes.
recently experienced
They filtered us out. I'm going to end it there for that. There's a bunch more, but I'm going to keep going, but other questions. But I brought this up because my whole point of this is when I spoke about the workforce, they're not fixing it. Their answer to fix men in the workforce is immigrants, migrants. That's migrants and AI. The business world isn't trying to save men. It's not. It's like, we don't care. We'll just go AI and migrants to help with American men. That's what the business world has done. So the business world does not care. The market has found another answer because it's fast. And the market said, oh, we can't have these men? That's fine. We'll get migrants and we'll use AI. Have a nice day, men. Good luck online. That's the business world. The business world is apathetic. They take no blame. They take no nothing. They solve the problem. That's what the business world does. And some of you don't like that. That's what happened. What about women? What are they doing to solve a romantic problem? Blaming men still. They've learned nothing. They've learned nothing. And the business world is going to see this and go, wait a minute. So men don't like women? We'll solve that problem too. AI girlfriends. That'll solve that problem. The business world is apathetic. It will just solve that problem as it always does. The market always solves the problem every single time. It does. It solves, unless government physically stops it, in which case the black market solves the problem. So either the market does or the government stops it, in which case the black market does. But either way, one of the markets solves the problem. Always, every single time. Every time. There's no exception. The market always wins. It does. And we're going to see this. Both sides aren't helping. All right. I went long on that because it's a personal thing that affects us all. You're mad at immigration? This is a problem. You're mad at our wars? This is a problem. You're mad at your girlfriend, your daughter, son, whatever, can't find a mate? This is the problem. You're mad at the business world, firing everybody? This is the problem. This is a bigger problem than all the other problems because it affects every one of the problems. If you don't have men between 25 and 54 doing shit, your country is screwed. That's how that works. Your foreign policy means nothing. Your domestic policy means your tax rate means nothing. If you don't have men 25 to 54 doing shit. And I want to hear this. Well, what about women? Women need men too. That's how it works. It affects them too. Now you got a bunch of unhappy women because they can't find men because they're all checked out. Everybody loses. I keep saying this. Everybody loses. There's no winners here. I'm sorry, business. But business always wins. Business doesn't want AI. Business doesn't want AI girlfriends. Business wants money. If that means AI girlfriend, fine. If that means AI and migrants, yeah, that's fine. Remember, business is apathetic. It doesn't care how it solves the problem. If it can solve the problem, keeping men employed and keeping women happy, it will. It doesn't care. But what we're doing now in our society, it's doing what it should do, which is, I'll solve the problem with that then. Okay. It doesn't care. It is utterly apathetic. All right, let me grab a couple of these if I can. All righty. Matt says, I swear I feel like I was born in the worst time. Economy is trash. AI is going to take our jobs. So, yeah, I feel the worst for the millennials. I do. I feel the worst for millennials. Most of your parents were boomers. Boomers in general were not the best parents as a group. They were not the best parents as a group. Depends on what you look at. Could be. And you're right. You came out right when the economy was crashed, 2008, 2000. Yeah, they're the worst. They are the worst. Yes. So Mastermind said it used to be that women check out after marriage. Good joke. I like that. Cute. Absolutely. Yes. Matt says women these days, I think, don't want anyone unless they look like Ronaldo. I got to be very forward with you, Matt. This is a relatively recent change, maybe the last 20 years, where I see women being a whole lot more superficial than men. I mean, a lot more than men. And I don't think that was always true. I felt like many women in the past, and maybe this is just my experience. I could be wrong on this. I don't have any data to show this, except I do. I do have data. This is, there is data. There's swipe data. There is something that shows that good-looking men just get so many more swipes, and women judge men as in like you're like 8 or a 9 or a 10, or you're a 0. Like there's no middle men in a woman's mind. Like, and again, this is from swipe this. If you're not on the apps, this doesn't affect you. But if you're on the apps, this affects you. And women look at men like there's 8s, 9s, and 10s, and like 1s and 2s. They don't see 5s. 5s are invisible to them. They don't see it. Men go, oh no, she's a 6, she's a 7, 3, whatever. They do make their judgments, however they make judgments. So I think there's some data to that. But I think women are actually right now in today's world, women are actually more superficial than men right now. I believe that. Again, no real kind of data, but yeah. Andrea says credentials mean nothing when people don't have critical thinking and problem solving skills. Again, this is the same point I bring up with Kintsugi. That's true in reality, Andrea, but when you're part of a bureaucracy, it doesn't matter. Bureaucracy is box checking. That's all that matters. Results don't actually matter. I don't mean to be cruel, but if you've worked in a big bureaucracy, you know what I mean. Results don't matter. Did you check the boxes? No, you're a bad person. Did you check the boxes? You did. You're amazing. But the person we got was garbage. You checked the boxes. That's all that matters. You check the boxes. You're good. Yes. Massman says employers don't want the best workers. They want the cheapest workers. Depends on what you're doing, right? When it comes to, are you someone who is the word they're using now in the business world is agency. I'm not sure if it's the right word, but that's the phrase using now, Mastermind, which is agency, which is, do you have a job to where you have to have initiative, autonomy, go make your own money, go do things, be more of a leader? In those cases, they want the best workers. They don't want the cheapest. I'm not making this up. That's true. But when it comes to the worker who's just doing the thing that isn't directly making money, you're right. Cheapest. That's what I care about. Cheapest. Depends on which level they are, right? If they want a guy to come in and move and shake and do things, they need the stuff moved and shaken and done. They'll pay for it. And you see it everywhere. I see it. It's everywhere. But it's like, I want a guy who does the thing. It's fine. Cheapest is better. In fact, AI will do it. Robot will do it. Who cares? Who cares? Doesn't matter. And you see it now. Look at the biggest deals being made. AI is nowhere near those deals. I'm not joking. AI, because those are things like trust, experience, knowing what's going to happen in the future, good prediction skills, knowing whose palms the grease. AI is not there. Maybe one day it will be there, but it isn't. So those people get paid a lot of money, insane amounts of money, right? Skill sets that are very weird, right? I get paid very well when I do things that other people don't want to do. For example, as you've seen me before, be a surrogate in the media for somebody. You get paid good money for that. Why? Because who wants to do that? Right? Who wants to be the guy who has to explain what Tulsi Gabbard or Donald Trump or whoever said in the media, in my case, RFK Jr. or Gary Johnson, right? I got to explain what they said in the media. I got to get yelled at. People don't want to do that shit. They don't be embarrassed by it. They don't do that. I do. For that, I get paid well. So they don't want the cheapest guy for that, right? For that, they want the best for that, and they'll pay for it. But the guy who books it, who books me, they don't care about that person. Like, oh, you just did the data? Now, the guy who has the relationships, who gets me on the set, that person they pay for because his relationships matter, right? The relationships matter. They care about that. So that person they'll pay because you got to have relationships. But the physical person who books it, you're right. They don't care. They'll use AI for that. They'll use anything. They don't care. So it depends upon where it is. So make sure that's clear. So Peace over on Rumble. Thank you for the Rumble rant, $1. I wonder if this is also happening to gay men. You think I'd know, but I haven't been out dating for many years. Plan to now that I feel healthy again. My guess is that this affects them too. Not as much, to be forward. They've done data on this, and right now the most unhappy and highest divorce rate is among lesbian women. Gay men have the lowest divorce rate and are the happiest. So gay men are doing the best out of this, believe it or not. They're doing the best. And I think one of the reasons is my gut is, and I don't know this for sure, but my gut says, generally speaking, when gay men commit to each other, they seriously commit. The problem is, do they commit, right? And so if you don't have a committed relationship, it's different. But if you have two men who actually commit, they tend to be very serious and they tend to be very loyal to each other when they commit. And even if there's gay men are more likely to have open relationships, but even if they do, it's known. Like they're like, yeah, we're going to have other men involved in a relationship. That will be a thing. They absolutely go, yeah, we both agree to this. Now, some men don't want that. They're like, no, it's me and you and that's it. But there are some men who know, no, we're going to have other men in our relationships. And they actually do that. And they have that kind of relationship. So they're more open. There's more honesty there, more directness. Second thing is there is a story that people have been saying, and it's utterly not true, that women are better communicators. Utter garbage, total horseshit, not even close to true in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely not true. That's a story that people told people forever. I know, I deal with communication directly. Men are far better communicators. It's not even close by leaps and bounds. So in a relationship with two men, communication is very direct and very clear. And because of that, you tend to be able to solve issues better than you will with two females who tend to communicate like garbage, and everyone's going to read each other's minds, and then there's more problems. So my gut says those are two of the reasons why. Communication is much better between two gay men versus two lesbian women. And they tend to be, when they commit, they seriously commit when they do commit. And when they have open relationships and things like that, they're honest with each other. Lesbian women often cheat on each other. That's the infidelity is a big reason. Again, you think I'm making this up, you can just do a Google search. Lesbian women actually have more infidelity, and it's infidelity because they're doing it behind a woman's back. When men have open relationships, when they're gay men, they often, no, we're going to have other men. Sometimes the other men will have to join in. That will happen. But then again, they'll agree. And I have to be very forward. No judgment. You do you. If that makes you happy, you do you. Don't mind at all. So I don't think this is affecting men as much. But something else. When there are two men in a relationship and one falls down, right, and either loses his job or the case may be, the other man is there to support. In today's world, the problem is with social media, it's very hard for a woman to admit to all her friends that her man has failed. And many women today, particularly millennials and under, their life is online. They're up there showing how awesome they are and doing all their stuff. And the man falls down. They can't tell their friends that. And the second that happens, their friends go, you better leave that man. He's no good. She has pressure to leave him. Doesn't happen in gay relationships. It's not a thing. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. That's from what I've seen and from what I believe. Both of those two things. And I'm sorry, what I've seen and what I've also read. So anyway, Space Jason. Peace Loud says I agree with that. So I guess Peace agrees. There we go. Space Jason says, obviously third, fourth wave feminism and progressivism have been a failure, but online dating sites algorithms have made it worse. Masculinity is the solution. I actually agree with you on that. I do. Yeah, I agree with you. I think feminism has made things tough, but online dating and social media has made things so much worse. I mean, yeah, so much worse. So, lunatic here in the house. The skilled trades are comprised by the lack of skill sets, regulations that shrink the employee market, also all the woke bullshit. Well, yeah, I think all that's true. Yeah. Lunatic also goes on with his $5. Thank you. Women and men have been propagandized and manipulated since the invention of the radio, taught to hate ourselves and each other. Pick the category. I don't know why you picked the radio. Why is that the time? I mean, they've been propaganda when we just putting out books and stuff. I'm not sure why you picked that, Lunatic. Why did you pick radio? I don't know if I get that. Matt, thank you for $2. Let's talk war. We just bombed Iran. Perfect. Just what I want to hear. We just bombed. Oh, fucking perfect. Because that's going to solve things. That's going to solve things. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find this here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find. We just bombed freaking just what I wanted to hear. Let's just keep bombing stuff because bombing always works. All righty. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, great. I put in BOM and it popped up bombing Iran. Just beautiful. Just what I wanted to see. Just great. All righty. Let's see if I can find anything else here. Does anybody know what series, does anyone know what news is covering this best? If you do, maybe I'll pop over to them and see what I can find on that one. Let's see here. Let me see if I can do my filter. Let's try last hour. Is that a good one? All right. Actually, I'm having trouble finding it. Is it that hard? Maybe it is. If someone's got a link, please link me if you don't mind. If someone's got a link, I appreciate it. So anyway, let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Shelly says, if you have the experience, you're more likely to start your own business. Also true. I do like that too. Let me see what we're talking about. If anyone's talking about Iran right now, I'll find some of those now if I can. Obviously, you guys know about Iran. Let me keep going down here. All righty. Larry, my daughter and I watching tonight. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. That's amazing. Yes, that's great. Lunatic says, radio, no wait for printed distribution. Oh, because it's direct. God. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering why you picked radio. Okay, that actually makes sense, Lunatic. Yeah, because now, and also I guess, I'm adding radio because radio could be national, right? I think it could be national. So you know what? I'm buying it. I'm in. Lunatic, I'm in. I wasn't sure why you picked it, but now that you go through it. Yeah. I'm in. All right. Mike says I got to go over to X. Hold on. Let me see if I can go to X. Are we doing, is X telling us? Let's see if I can find it from the White House. I don't see it. Why is the news not, the news should be telling us that we're bombing stuff, shouldn't it? Is it BS, man? Are they teasing us? It's not true, Mike? Are they lying to us? I don't see it, dude. I don't know. It's not, if it's happening, no one's talking about it. So, yeah, there we go. No one's talking about it. If it's happening, that's it right there. All right, let's see if we can find that one. Hold on, see if I can find that. Why won't this go? Come on now. There we go. All right, maybe that's the one. Let's see if we can find that one. So, any case, all righty. Keep walking down this road if I can. If there anyone else who's saying this. All right, Kentucky says, are you kidding me? They drop bombs. Lunatic says, B-2 stealth bombers in position to Iran. Oh, my God. I don't want to hear that. Shelly goes, disappointed in Trump. Me too. Missy goes, OF, we drop bombs in Iran. I'm so upset. Yep. Billy John, breaking. U.S. drop bombs in Iran. We're at war, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. Okay, confirmed from White House on X, U.S. bomb 3 Iran facilities. Because that'll work. Wow. Yeah. Who's gonna fight this? User has been banned from it. Was John McCain got his wish? He did. In death, he got what he wanted. In death, he got what he wanted. I guess good for you. There we go. Yeah. All righty. This just drives me crazy. It makes me upset because he did it on the weekend, of course, because everyone says he's doing a weekend. He did it, of course, Saturday, of course, because to make sure the markets aren't affected until the Monday morning, of course. And, of course, the news cycle is slow on the weekends, of course. Yes, of course. Yep. Kintsugi says, more disappointed, furious, absolutely furious, calls him a traitor. Mess, I would quit the military if I was in it. If I was an officer in the military right now, I'm not joking, I would resign. Right? I would resign. I'm not even joking. If I was an officer right now in the military, I would resign. If I was a Marine Corps officer right now, I'd be like, I'm out. I resign. I'm out. I'm done. Yep. Ugo Riser says, I may have to start hating the orange man yet. Yeah. Ganjin says that orange piece of shit said 2 weeks, embassies drop bombs. Yeah. Michael Gray says, if Trump was president, this would not have happened. True. If only Trump was president, we wouldn't be at war. Oh, wait. Now we are. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That liberty says, so I'm wondering what all those libertarians that voted for Trump are saying. Well, I got to be clear, Liberty Lady. Just to be forward, many of them have come clean. I'm going to try to give some of them credit. A lot of them have come clean and said, hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry. A lot of them actually have. So yeah, I mean, a lot of them actually have, to be fair. So yeah. K. John says, status update. My TDS officially relapsed. I don't think you're alone, K. John. I don't think you're alone. There's a lot of people who have been there. Look, you guys, for the past, I don't know, maybe how long? 9 months? A year maybe now? I have tried to be very as neutral as I can with Trump. I've tried to be as neutral as I possibly can. I've tried to be like, okay, maybe he can benefit out. We can fix this. We'll see. He's got some skill sets. He's got some he doesn't have. I've tried to be open and honest. I've tried to not openly attack him, give him the benefit of the doubt, give him time. This week I got pissed off because I thought he might do this shit. I did. I thought he might. I thought now he's shown he might do this. And I'm right. He did do it. And I have given him the benefit of the doubt a lot. A lot. I give him benefit of the doubt. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Mike says 70% of America supports this almost across all party lines. That's not true. They support Iran not having a bomb. That's what they support. Iran, I can show you details if you want to, the specifics on it. CNN put it out. They support Iran not having a bomb. But when you ask specifically, do you want America to be involved in a war? It's not 70%. It's more like 50. It's about 50, right? So it depends, right? What are you looking at? Are you saying, because we've been brainwashed, which is what I've been trying to say this whole week, which no one's listening. I'm screaming into the goddamn wind, but it's fine. I'm gonna say anyway. So I guess later, after everything's been destroyed, I can get a good "I told you so" out of this. Right? I can get a good "told you so." Mono set says 60%. Okay, maybe 60. I thought it was about 50. Right? But maybe I'm off, but I think it's about 60. Where was it? Yeah, Michael says no way 70% support this. Nobody wants another Iraq. True, they don't want war. That's not true. They don't want war. They do want no bomb because they've been brainwashed believing that the world's going to end once they get a bomb. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Because of this, there is zero doubt that Iran will have a bomb within a year or two, probably within a year. They will have one. They didn't have one. If they had one, they would have shown it already. If they had one now, they would have shown it, so they wouldn't get bombed. They would have said, "Do it, and we will bomb." They would have used it. They would have shown. They would have shown it. They would have. They don't have one. They don't have one. That's a story. That's a lie that Netanyahu's been saying for 30 years. They don't have one. But they didn't get one now. Why? They had no choice. Because we bombed them. They don't hate us because we're free. They don't hate us because they're Muslim or whatever stupid story they tell you. None of that's true. They hate us because we bombed them. And we just bombed them again. Now they hate us more. What in the world could bring? I thought the goal was, if I remember right, the goal was we have to have regime collapse. So we want the people to hate their government. When you bomb people, they then hate their government, right? That's worked exactly. Oh, right. Never. Never. When you bomb people, they hate the people bombing them. They don't hate the government. In fact, they go to the government and say, stop the people from bombing us. That's what they do. Bombing has turned over countries exactly. Oh, right. Never. Never. Never once. This is an embarrassment. This is terrible. Missy, thank you for the $2. Does this mean World War III is now starting? Not yet. No, not yet. It depends on what Russia does. Depends upon what Pakistan does. Depends what everybody else does. Depends how far he goes. To be forward, the one thing that, again, I will give Trump this credit, as I always do. If anyone can turn this around, it's him. But I don't know if this can be turned around. Now, we have already murdered, and I'm saying that word, we have already murdered their scientists. We murdered their elites in their military without a declaration of war. We've already murdered a bunch of their people. And I'm using the word murdered because there's no declaration of war. Are we at war with Iran? Officially not. Not that matters, but we just had to bomb them anyway. So yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the problem. So yeah, this is a big problem. Agarez says bombers can't occupy street corners. True. They cannot. Bodies got to go in. Bodies got to go in. And I cannot see us bringing bodies in. I just can't see bodies going in. So I just can't see him going in. This is nothing but a bad thing. So let me see if I can find any. I'm having trouble finding specifics on this. Are there specifics on this? I'm looking and I'm not seeing specifics on this. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not seeing specifics. I'm just seeing, oh yeah, I'm not seeing specifics. You would think that the US would put out like videos of it and such, you would think. All right, let's see here. The Daily Signal has something out. I see that. People are watching. Right. I see that one. Okay, so some people are saying some things. There's some breaking stuff. All right. Let me see if I can find this one. Let me see if I can grab this one here. All right. Let's see here. Okay, yep, I'm seeing now where it is. All right, guys, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let me pop this up and put this out so you guys can see this. This is from, just so we know, this is from the Daily Signal that just popped up in my feed. I don't know who these people are. It literally just popped in my feed. I have a bunch of feeds, so I try to pop in here or there to get the right ones. This one is the Daily Signal. I have no idea if this guy's any good or not. I don't know who he is, just being very forward, but he's talking about it, so I'm going to pop him in real fast so you can see him talking about it. So someone's talking about it. He's the quick news roundup, whatever that is.
As to whether or not the United States was going to strike. Israel had come forward yesterday evening, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu intimated that Israel did not need the U.S. bunker buster bombs, which would be needed for an airstrike on Fordo to take out Fordo, the primary nuclear site that was encased in reinforced concrete, at least 150 feet below. In some,
they thought somewhere between 150 and 300 feet. They didn't know which one it was.
Parts exactly. Of that area much deeper. Now, deeper under a lot of rubble and rock. So again, for those who are just now coming in to the live stream, the statement from the President of the United States.
And let me just be clear. I'm going to drop this banner so you can actually see this guy. I'm going to give this guy credit so you can see who he is, because I don't know who he is. He's popping in my stream, so I figured I'd grab it. So this guy may be great. He may be full of it. I don't know. But this is right here is the Tony Kinnett cast. Just so you're aware of it. Please check him out if you want to.
Donald Trump at 7:46 p.m. Eastern, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iranian airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter."
Did that knucklehead put, now is the time for peace? So I just flew over. I haven't declared war. Congress has said nothing. Congress has said nothing, right? Where's Chuck Schumer right now? Where's Hakeem Jeffries right now? Where's Mike Johnson right now? Where's Thune right now? Nothing. We just bombed nuclear sites in a country we did not declare war on. There is no authorization of use of force for Iran, is there? There isn't one. We've used the same one since 9/11 or Patriot Act, whatever garbage lies. We just murdered people. We just did, because we've decided Iran can't have a bomb. Who the fuck are we to decide that? We just decide that you can't have a bomb. Why? Because I say so. I'll go back to this again. What if Australia decided it wanted to have a bomb? It has enough money, enough scientists. It can make one if it wanted to. Are we going to bomb them? We're not. We're not. What if Singapore decided, I want to have a bomb? They have enough money. They could buy one. They could make one if they wanted to. Up to them. Tons of money. Norway, they got tons of money. Trillions of dollars. We want to buy some nukes from Russia, China, whatever. They could do it if they wanted to. We're going to bomb them? No. No. And that's if we did. Imagine for a moment that the Australians say they want to have a bomb. And we go, you can't have one. They go, we're Australia. We're going to get a bomb. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? We're going to get a bomb. We want one. We don't trust you anymore. We're going to go get a bomb. We go, oh, no, don't worry. We're going to send our bombers over and we're going to blow up your military leaders in Australia. Then we're going to send our bombers over and we're going to blow up your nuclear sites in Australia. Imagine that shit. Now, Australia's a smaller country in population than Iran. It's what, about 30, 40 million Australians, give or take? about 80, 90 million Iranians. I don't know exactly. About 80, 90 million Iranians, about 30, 40 million Australians in that area. I'm going to be off a little bit, but in that area. So about double, maybe triple. We wouldn't do that shit. Never. A million years. Why is Iran okay? Now, the concept that everyone will tell you is we can't have people have bombs. Why not? Did we bomb North Korea? Didn't. Did we bomb Pakistan? No, we didn't. Only Iran. And somehow that's okay. And again, no declaration of war, no nothing. We just decided to do that. And he has the balls to say, now it's time for peace. So I'm going to come over your house, Matt. I'm going to come over your house and I'm going to, I don't know, kill your pet. That's what I'm going to go do. And go, now it's time for us to talk, Matt. I'm going to go trash your refrigerator, open up, pour the shit in the floor, kill your pet, shoot your dog if you have one, your cat, whatever you got, I'm going to kill it. And then look at you and go, time for peace. Because I can't have you having a pet, Matt. You might sick that dog on me. It's possible, or on my ally. You might sick your dog on my ally on me, so I got to kill your dog. So now it's time for peace, Matt. I know your dog's dead. I know I trashed your refrigerator and put it on the floor, but now it's time for peace. That's what we just did. We just did that. We just did that. And the best part is, so many Americans will be, yeah, USA, America, fuck yeah. You can see that all day long. All day long we do that. For what? Shelley says it. If only we had libertarians in power. Yeah. If we had libertarians in power, we'd be trading for rugs right now, not bombing them. Yes. That's right. Yes. Mike says this is not impeachable due to War Powers Act and several other laws used by Obama, Biden, and Bush. This is completely empowered the executive branch. Okay. No, they were all wrong. And you're right, not impeachable. And they're not impeachable because our Congress is a fucking joke. The Constitution was written specifically so kings couldn't just make wars of choice. That's the reason why we have separation of powers and why declarations of war is in the Congress. Because what was supposed to happen is the Congress was supposed to be responsible for war. We've decided that it's an executive branch. It is currently an executive branch, Mike, you're correct, but should never have been. It's because our Congress is a fucking joke. You're right. Obama used it. Biden and Bush, all true and all bullshit. Obama was wrong. Biden was wrong. Bush was wrong. Trump is wrong. They're all wrong. Because what happens is now no one's responsible. As always, no one's responsible. Congress will just go, oh, whatever, too bad, whatever. That's what bullshit Congress will do. When it should, Congress should, you're right, it's not impeachable, but what Congress should have done, and they never would, is erase the Patriot Act, erase all the nation's uses of force, all of them, trash all of this bullshit. The War Powers Act is utterly unconstitutional. Get rid of the entire thing. And then when Trump does it, then impeach him. But you're right. They can't now. You're not wrong. It's all bullshit, but you're not wrong. I wish you were wrong. Clearly I do, but you're not. Yeah. Guillermo, no new wars. Yep. No new wars. Yep. Ganjan says, if a draft happens, I'm not dying for Israel. F Israel. Well, I'm not going to go there, but there's probably going to be a draft. I mean, I can't see it. I mean, maybe, but I can't see it. The reason why there'll be a draft is if there were a draft, if there was, I don't see one, it would embarrass us. That's the reason why. It would embarrass us. Yes, it would just embarrass us. That's it. John says, Larry, how come Russia and China aren't telling us to knock it off? Is it when your enemies are making a mistake? Don't say anything? That's what I said already. Are you kidding me? China and Russia? Oh, China's loving this. China's going to finance the entire thing. I've already told you it's already happening. If any of you were paying attention, whenever I talk about this stuff, what did I say? I said months ago, China was already trying to make a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now, it did not work, but they were trying to do it already. They were already trying to do so. They wanted to make that deal. Now, what they have done is there are better relations now with Iran and Saudi Arabia. They're not allies. It did not work, but there's better relations now, which means the odds of Saudi Arabia getting involved in this are slim to none. Now, Turkey already is trying to not get involved in it. Turkey and Iran are trying to work together. And is it Sudan and Chad, I think? There's two African nations. I forgot which one. I think it's Sudan and Chad. They're working together right now in getting out a bunch of important minerals, gold and stuff, all coming into Turkey and coming into Iran, right? It's all through the civil wars they're fighting in there. Again, as I said before, the French have been booted out. The Russians are there, and the Russians are working directly with the Iranians and the Turks, which is why I keep telling you, the Turks are an important piece. They can, if they want to, fix this. They can. So, yeah, of course, we're about to go into another Vietnam for nothing. Vietnam was a massive lie. Iraq was a massive lie. Afghanistan is a massive lie. Iran is a massive lie. Same things. All the same. We grab some of these super chats. I'm sorry. I got so many of these. I got to grab some. All right. Lunatic, $2. Thank you. The sum of all fears in real time. Yep. Phil says, Republican infighting is coming. That's an LP win. Now, that's true, Phil. You know what? You just put a little bit of a nice line in here. Silver lining. A little bit. That's true. That is an LP win. If the Libertarian Party will pull its head out of its ass, I don't know if it will or not, but if it will, it's got to try to make some impact. It's true. You're right. You're right. I wonder how all the people who went to the RLC are thinking now. They may not be that happy. People always tease me when I say, I wish our president was Gary Johnson. I'm not joking. I wish it was. Clearly, I'm never getting that. I live in a fantasy world. I accept that as true. That's my fantasy world. I live in a fantasy world. But this shit wouldn't have happened to Gary Johnson. Where's Aleppo? Well, if you don't know where Aleppo is, you can't fucking bomb it, can you? You can't bomb it, can you? No. Good. I'm glad you know where Aleppo was. Can't bomb it. Maybe hopefully they don't know what Iran is either. Don't bomb that either. Stop bombing people. Trade with them. Whole lot better. So yeah, it's true. Ryan says, with the B-2 bombers to Iran, I'm so pissed off that I threw up. This is horrible. Yes, the B-2 bombers. These are the bombers that can drop the special weapons too. Yeah, the special ones that create mushroom clouds, they carry those too. Yeah. So they're going to drop a bunch of them, these massive 30,000 pound bombs into Iran. They're going to kill a whole bunch of scientists. And the Russians have already said, the Russians work at some of these facilities. They're Russians. I told you already they'd be grabbing Russians, right? I've been saying this stuff. I feel like I've been screaming into the wind forever. They don't just sit there and do nothing. That's not what they do. That's not how nations work. If I know it, they know it. I know I'm smart. I'm not that smart. If they know it, if I know it, they know it. I'm not that smart. I mean, I'm pretty smart, but I'm not that smart. They know it too. So the Russians know they have scientists there already. And they're like, don't bomb our scientists or there's going to be a problem. Russians did say that. And supposedly Trump said, I got you. I'm not going to bomb that facility. That's supposedly what he said. Let's hope that's true. Let's hope that's true. They're going to bomb the shit out of this. And they're going to say Iran is now behind whatever, 10 years or whatever it is. Desperate people do desperate things. Here is what I'm guaranteeing you. And I'm saying it publicly, so you can say whatever you want. Within a year or two, Iran will have a bomb. Guaranteed. There is literally no, I will bet any of you any amount of money now. It's a guarantee now. They will have it. Yep. And when they have it, will they use it? No, they were never gonna. No, they were never gonna use it. Within a year or two, they're gonna have a bomb and they won't use it. They will now say, now we have a bomb. If you attack us, we'll use it. What people just don't want to understand is, except for America bombing Japan, with that exception, nuclear weapons are defensive weapons. That's what MAD stands for. That's what saved us during the Cold War. Mutual assured destruction. Yes. Chuck, thank you for the $20, my friend. Check out the 10th Amendment Center. Precedent does not make it legal in the future. It is still a violation and impeachable. Just because someone got away with it in the past means nothing. Well, I guess in theory, you're right, right? In theory, the question is, to Mike's point, it's been used by every president. And you're right. One precedent doesn't necessarily make it legal. True, doesn't necessarily. But how do you get past every president using it up and this time it's bad? Something would have to change. For example, they would have to have, say, I don't know, repealed the Patriot Act or something, right? Not authorize the use of forces anymore. Something, right? Something would have had to change to really make this impeachable. And none of that has happened, right? Could they tomorrow do it? And then if he bombed them again, in theory, that could happen. I don't see it happening at all. I wish it would. But no, I mean, the point you're making that it doesn't necessarily make it legal true. In this case, no, I think Mike is correct. I cannot say this is impeachable. I don't see this one. I wish it was. I don't think so. I can wish all I want. Let's make it true, right? If my wishing made stuff true, I'd have Gary Johnson as president, me and governor of New York. So my wishing doesn't work, Chuck. Ryan Link for $5. The United States of America has had horrible foreign policy since 2003, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. Yeah. I saw people on Facebook telling me, oh, this is not Iraq. It's very different, blah, blah. So far, seems the same to me. Phil, thank you for $2. Justin Amash for LP. Family in Gaza. Good candidate. If this motivates Amash to run, that'll be a silver lining. I hope he does. If Amash runs, I'm in. Justin, if you happen to be watching, or some of your people, I know some of your people do, if they're watching and you decide you'll make a step, I'm in. What I got to do, where I got to move. You need a surrogate in the press? I am there with gloves tied, ready to fight. I'm with you, brother. If you run, I'm in. I am your press secretary. I will be battling as though tomorrow. I will wreck them. Happy to do so. I hope he does. We'll see. We will see. Anyway, got it. All righty. Mike says, I get it. Just trying to inform. I'm not as emotional as Larry. Yeah, you're not. I know. I am clearly anti-war. This is completely wrong. This is not going to help. It never does. I know I'm emotional. You're right, Mike. I am. I'm not mad at it. Literally just tonight with all those bombs, you can guarantee there are some fathers who are not coming home to their families now. You might go, well, they're Iranian. They're still fucking human beings. And they're still people who their sons and daughters, it wasn't their fault. A wife now who's now a widow. That happened now. And now those kids are going to grow up hating America. If they're sons, they're going to join the military. And they might join some other forces you don't like. And they might strap some bombs in their bodies and do some shit you're not going to like. Why? Because we bombed them. We just made more terrorists. So we did. And now some young Marine is now going to get his arms and legs blown off from one of those guys. And now he's going to go home a broken man. And he's a brave man that we need to hear to fix our country that we don't have now because he got his arms and legs blown off for this bullshit. Why? I've been watching it happen for 20 years. I've been watching broken men for 20 years. And I said it when I ran in 2018. When people were mad why I was worried about the fathers movement and all the wars and stuff. And they said, Larry, why do you care so much? And I said, how can I fix my state with an army of broken men? I can't. Because behind every broken man is at least one broken kid. Because it's broken men. That was somebody's dad, brother, kid, something. And in Iran right now, a bunch of families just lost somebody who they counted on. Person's gone. That person's gone. Why? Because Iran can't have a bomb. Who gives a fuck? That's worth killing people? I guess it is. I guess it is. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Yes. Chuck says he won't be impeached, true, but still impeachable. Yeah, we don't have to your point, Chuck, we don't have a Congress that would do it because our Congress is okay with this. Our Congress is okay with this. Lunatic says, Larry, no gloves, bare knuckle in the pocket. Dude, I don't want to break my hand. I don't want to break my hand. So, I don't know. I'll put something on. I don't know, bare knuckles. I'm going to wrap it. Aluminum foil. I'm going to wrap them. That's what I'll do. I'll wrap them. I don't want to break my hand. So I've had my hand hurt before. So yeah, I've had it hurt before. I used to study Taekwondo back in the day. So I haven't broken, but I've had sprains and stuff. I have had that in the past. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going here. Let's see here. All righty. Agorizer says John Bolton's whacking into this news. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yes. Mastermind House says you can keep going back to Carter. True. If I remember, I think Carter was the only president who didn't send anybody to war. Is that true in the last like 50 years, something like that? It's close, something like that. It's something close like that. I don't know if I may be off on that, but it's something like that. And I think it was only Trump who didn't start any new wars. Well, the first Trump, he blew that one out of water today. I mean, he did have that. He threw that in the garbage. There's your freaking Peace Prize in the garbage for that. Yeah. Matt says Congress was supposed to be responsible for war because Congress is supposed to act in the interest of what the people want. True, but it doesn't. You're right. True. That's what's supposed to happen. But Chuck has already expressed that's not going to happen. But yes, it is supposed to happen. That is accurate. They're supposed to be responding to the people, right? They're the ones going to do it. But yeah, no. Matt goes, Congress is going to Congress. You're not wrong. Yes. Liberty Lady says there was an anti-war to the core candidate on the ballot. But since MAGA Kingmaker decided to back Trump instead of Libertarian candidate, well, let's be honest. There was more than one. To be fair, look, I'm not a Jill Stein fan, but I know Jill personally. She's a wonderful person. Again, green, and we don't agree politically, but if you meet Dr. Jill Stein, she is a nice person. You will like her. She truly gives a shit. She really cares. She does. That's true. Again, whether you like her policy or not, she does. And she's anti-war. This would have not happened to Jill Stein either. So there was more than one. Obviously, Chase would have never had this war, and obviously Jill Stein would never have this war. Here's the problem, though. It didn't matter what McArdle did. Chase wasn't winning. His entire campaign was wrong. That's why I said it from the bat. He had no chance of making impact. Again, I don't mind Chase. I like Chase. I'm just on the show with him. I voted for Chase. I still like Chase, but he had no chance of making any impact because his plan was bad. And now Stein had a chance of making impact, but then she screwed it up. Her team didn't push Michigan. Now, why would it have mattered? If Stein had actually done what I told him to do, and I did tell the team, they ignored me. Everything in Michigan, make impact in Michigan. Why? Because then at least you have a voice. You got a shot. You got a voice. You got something. And Michigan, you also got a mosh. So you got the voice, you got a mosh, you got a libertarian green connection. They threw that in the garbage. So yeah, just to be fair, there was going to be no impact. That's not a thing. There was going to be no impact at all. So yeah. All right, let me keep going down here. I'm looking here if I could. I'm looking at over here at Rumble, and I see Peace Logic says, get this, my very best friend likes Andrew Tate. He's my program and partner for Peace Logic. He's the kindest person I know. A deeper conversation with him is scheduled. Yeah, he likes Andrew Tate because Andrew Tate is masculine in a world where, to the earlier point people made, masculinity is attacked. It's bad. It's no good. Well, you're going to need some now, aren't you? Because now we're going to war, right? Now you don't want masculinity anymore? We're not going to, because our men aren't ready to go to war. You saw them marching. They're not ready. They're not ready to go to war. I wish they were. They're not. Peace goes on to say, what's happening with Tulsi Gabbard? Seems like she would push back, but can't because of politics. She posted she agrees, but I'm suspicious. No. She actually said the truth. She said they don't have a bomb. She said that. They don't have a bomb. And to her knowledge, they weren't making one. They weren't. I know people go to me, Larry, how do you know? Because I know. If they wanted a bomb, they'd have one. They didn't want one. Bombs are expensive. Bombs are dangerous. They were hoping they could make a deal and not have to get one. Now they do. And here's the next part. If Iran gets a bomb, the hardest part is not that Iran gets a bomb. The hardest part is now, Iran gets a bomb. Does Saudi Arabia get one now? Now, you think Saudi Arabia would get a bomb. They're supposedly, have been in the past, enemies of Israel. So I'm thinking a bomb. Why didn't Saudi Arabia has the money and has the scientists and tons of desert space to put bombs? They could get tons of them if they wanted to. Literally, they could just, within a year, Saudi Arabia could have 3, 4, 5 bombs if they wanted them. ICBMs, they wanted them. They got the cash. They'll buy a couple scientists, buy some stuff. They got tons of cash. Just get them. I'm not making this up. They could literally have ICBMs in 2 years. 4, 5, 10 of them if they wanted to. Well, they're supposedly enemies with Israel. I mean, they're not, but they supposedly are. So why don't they just get them so they could strike Israel? No, they don't. Why don't they? Because they were never gonna. And that's my point. They were never gonna. Right? They were never gonna. Let me keep going if I could. Tulsi Gabbard said it. And Trump said, Tulsi's wrong. How bad is that? Now, even if Tulsi's wrong, why do you diss your DNI publicly? Why? Tulsi said this months ago because it was true. That's why she said it. And he dissed her publicly. He should have said, there must be some confusion. We'll have some conversations. Maybe things have changed. Nope. She's wrong. Well, then why do you have a fire her then? If everyone around you is telling you that this is not a thing, then fire them. They're all wrong. They're all bad. Why do you have them? Get rid of them. They're all terrible. Fire them. Tulsi's going to lose her job. So Tulsi's like, oh, yeah, I agree with this. Fine. Don't fire me, please. Tulsi keeping her job. You asked that question, please? Tulsi keeping her job. That's it. She's keeping her job. That's what she's doing. She is keeping her job. I wish there was something else. She's keeping her job. So anyway, let me keep going. All righty. You're gonna get me canceled on YouTube. I can't read everything you did. I'll just do a couple pieces. Islam's goals to spread Sharia. Muhammad, blah, blah, blah. Not gonna work on that piece. Again, this is your issue. This is great. His issue is we have to stop it. Why? Because Muslims. That's the reason. Well, Pakistan is Muslim. Why don't we bomb them? Right? Why don't we bomb them? Osama bin Laden was in there. Why don't we bomb them? Taliban, they want to spread Sharia law too. They got it all over. Why don't we bomb them? Oh, we did. Didn't work, did it? 20 years, $2 trillion, 3,000 dead soldiers and Marines. Yeah, it didn't work, Grand Rapids. I think you're talking trash, my friend. I think you're talking trash. Don't get me canceled. Kinsugi says, no new wars, what a joke. Yeah, true. User has been banned, says, lol, government getting rid of its own power will never happen. Correct. That's not going to happen. Yes. Shelly says, what did Marco Rubio do to avoid this? Nothing. Rubio's a neocon. Rubio's happy as can be. Rubio's a neocon. Neocons love this shit, Shelly. This is what they want. They love this. There's always got to be an enemy out there. Everyone hates America for their freedoms. It's all a bunch of garbage liars like Lindsey Graham and Rubio. They're all the same, right? They're all the goddamn same. And they don't care because their kids don't go to war and die. They all make tons of money. Life is good for them. They're privileged, and the rest of us pay the price. And they keep us screaming and yelling at each other and fighting each other like Grand Rapids believes the garbage that, Iran's going to turn us into Shia law. He believes propaganda. Grand Rapids, I'm glad you're watching, but you believe propaganda, dude. There is, again, let me be very clear, 0 chance that the Iranians convert America to Sharia law. 0. No chance at all. If America goes Sharia law, it's because American men are so broken and they don't respect their own religion that they turn Muslim. That's the only way that happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's the only way it's going to happen. And by the way, that is slowly happening. The fastest growing religion in the world, to include America, is Islam. And it's through conversions. It's not through birth. Birth is a reason, but it's conversions. And you know who's converting more, men or women? Women. I did a whole show on it. Do your own homework. Women are converting to Islam faster than men. Yes. So if Sharia law comes, it won't be because the Iranians did it, because our culture is so broken. The first thing I was talking about, all these men checking out, all these women being lost and men checking out. We'll be looking for something. If Sharia law comes to America, it's because that, not because some Islamic guy says, make it. That's shit you made up. Just more. Again, it's a lot of people just make up because they want to, I'm mad, so I'm going to make stuff up. No, none of that's true. So anyway, Billy John says, can anyone confirm whether the army is calling in soldiers? Just heard from the channel. Oh, I don't know that. It would make sense, though. It makes sense. They start worrying about that. So user says, China wants it so Taiwan can be taken. The issue here becomes, right? This is the issue. I say this before. China does not want to invade Taiwan. China wants Taiwan to surrender. They don't want to invade. Would they? Yes. I'm not saying they would not, but they would prefer it to be like Hong Kong. In their perfect world, Taiwan just agrees to become part of China. Now, how does that happen? That only happens if America is so predisposed in Ukraine and Iran, happening right now. You are correct. And then Taiwan believes that America can't defend them. Then Taiwan goes, if America can't defend us, we can't win. China will eventually beat us because they'll just be overwhelmed. It'll be a war of attrition. which China will win in a war of attrition because they'll basically siege Taiwan and bomb it into the Stone Age, right? That's what they'll just do. If America can't defend them, that's what will happen. Taiwan knows that. They know that already, right? Their only goal, Taiwan's goal, is to hold the Chinese off long enough for Americans to save them. That is literally the defense plan. I'm not making that up. Do your own homework. That's absolutely true. They're there to just, okay, we'll hold the Chinese off long enough for America to defend us. If America's not going to defend them, they're not going to fight. They cannot withstand the Chinese army. They can't. No matter, they don't have enough anything. They can't. So they will acquiesce. And I think in the long run, that's the answer anyway. In the long run, Taiwan will agree to become part of China in some way. There'll be some kind of like 2-system, 1-country agreement that eventually China will renege on and just take over. But it'll be 10, 20 years. It'll be enough time. And this will be the deal. They'll make enough time for the elites in Taiwan to leave. So eventually the elites in Taiwan will leave, whenever that is, right? That's why they already have that company already here in America, for the Taiwanese company. So when the deal is made, the Taiwanese government will agree. Their elites will leave and go to America, and then China will take over the rest of the country. The elites will be gone. That's how that works. So yes. Michael says, AIPAC would have made sure Congress approved this attack. It's taxation with representation when our government's controlled by special interest. Yes. So what are the reasons why they don't do anything? Who's mad at this? People who aren't AIPAC. That's who's mad. The rest don't care. They don't care. Yes. Doesn't matter. That liberty says, I bet if the Dems were in charge and at war, Republicans would have an issue. They would talk more. Yes, they talk more. Yeah. Mike says, at Billy John, it would be standard procedure for bases to go on high alert and reserves to be called activation points. Mike's right. Yes, that's true. Yes, that usually will happen, right? When that kind of stuff happens, because you never know. You never know. So, yeah, you never know. All right. Let me keep going down here then. All righty. Oh, Grand Rapids. You got us to say tonight. Okay. We're supposed to bow down to non-whites, steal your bicycles, gays. Obama legalized statism for the gay. Okay, got that. College supporting Hamas, but we can't kill the enemy because they're entrenched here. Okay, you believe a whole lot of propaganda, my friend. A lot. Like, a lot. I get you don't like wokeism. I don't either. I think wokeism is stupid and makes things terrible. I agree with you. Gay is legal and should be legal. I don't know why you hate gay people. I don't know why you hate them. You don't have to bow down to any of them unless you want to. Look, if you want to bow down to some people and do some stuff for gay people, fine. I don't mind. Enjoy. As long as they're consenting adults, you do you. Colleges. None of this should be an issue in colleges. You should be able to say what you want to say on colleges, period. It doesn't matter. Just because you don't like Hamas doesn't mean anything. I don't care. But we can't kill the enemy. Who's the enemy? Iran's the enemy. Would they invade you? They come to your house, take your stuff. If there's an enemy, it's the U.S. government. They're the ones screwing you over. They're the ones making you think that you got to hate your neighbor. You mad at your neighbor because they won't kill some guy 7,000 miles away who doesn't care about you, know who you are anyway. And you're still falling for it. Dude, why are you falling for it? It's a serious question. Why are you falling for it? They're making you hate your neighbor when your neighbor is just as screwed as you are. And you're like, yeah, he's non-white. But is that non-white somehow controlling you? Is that non-white, the guy who you're paying rent to? Is that the person you bought a car from? No. Is that person stopping you from getting an education or your kids, your family? No. That person is different from you, and they convince you to hate that person when you should be hating the guy above you who's been screwing you over for years and who now has got you believing that the right answer is making widows in some country that half Americans couldn't find on a map. Dude, you're falling for stuff. Don't fall for it, man. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. So Guillermo says Trump address will be 10 p.m. Eastern. All right, I'll be off by then. Yes, we can watch it and we can all cry. And he'll lie and say shit that doesn't make any sense. And I'll be mad. So yeah. Michael says, I believe this war will be as unpopular as Vietnam. Remember, early on, Nam was popular. Early on, it was. Like the early 60s, it was popular. It got unpopular. I think that will happen here. I'm with you on that. I think that will be it. So yeah, I think that will be the issue. Yeah. All right, let me grab a couple more of these if you can. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. Everybody says there's only one of those RLC people who has the rights to LP. Larry knows who it is. Yeah, I know. But still, yeah, I know. Anyway, Michael says Russia has a bunch of people there. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Grandpa says turban hat. Oh, you mean the, okay, hold on. Obama and Biden allowed turban. Okay. You mean turbans. Yes. And the reason why they did, and some police forces actually okay are with, and it's because these people are Sikhs. People think that Sikhs are Muslims. They're not. That's propaganda. Sikhs are not Muslims. In fact, Sikhs were actually a warrior religion, actually meant to actually fight Muslims to defend Hindus. Sikhs are not allowed religiously to cut their hair. Some people don't know that. They cannot get this way. They have long beards. They cannot cut their hair. If their hair falls out, whatever, it's fine. They can't. So they wear turbans to keep their hair together because they can't do that. They're supposed to wear knives on them at all times because if they go to combat. I'm not joking. That's like part of their religion. And yeah, so they're actually Sikhs. So, and that was the issue. And I got to tell you, if you want, to your terrible way of speaking, non-white people in the military, the ones you want are Sikhs. How do I know that? The Brits hired them in freaking droves and put them in the military in droves. They were like, what? They hired two types of people. The Brits were out of the way to hire two types of people for the military: Sikhs and Nepalese. Nepalese are the Gurkhas. For those of you who don't know, the Gurkhan Corps. And they still, but to this day, the British Army still has Gurkhas. So yes, as part of their units, they hired Nepalese, which are Gurkhas, and they hired Sikhs. Like there's no tomorrow. There were Sikh units that fought the Germans in Africa. Yes, and the Gurkhas. There's a picture if you find it. Gurkhas have a special knife called a kukri. It's a crooked knife. And they were like charging Germans in trenches with like kukris in the air. I know I had a kukri when I was in the Marine Corps. I used to carry one. I know, crazy, but I used to carry one. Yeah, but anyway, so you're off on this. In fact, some police forces want to hire Sikhs in the police forces. The Brits did that too. If you watch the movie Gandhi, you'll see many of the police forces with sticks. The police all have turbans. Why? Because they're all Sikhs. So yeah. That is a thing. So I get you hate non-white people for whatever reason. You've decided that they're bad for you or something. But man, there's a lot of them that are pretty good. So I'm not sure where you're going with that. So, all righty. Ryan says, thank you for $2. Duopoly needs to be as extinct as a dodo bird. True. You see it now. Yes. Rhetoric says Andrew Tate can be an ambassador of Iran. That'd be amazing. He is American, so he could do it. It's true. His brother, I think, is still a British citizen. But I think he's actually American. So he could do it. If every time he shows up, they wouldn't want to put him in jail. Yeah, I love it. He can come in, get ambassadored, ship him over to Iran. I love it. I'm in. Let's do this, Rhetoric. It's brilliant. I love that idea. Let's do it. Absolutely. So, all righty. Let me see if I can grab this. The Liberty says, I see GOP on X already applauding this. Of course they are. Of course. Yes. Why wouldn't they? Yeah, why wouldn't they? Missy says, so many innocent people die in war. Little babies get blown up. Children get blown up. What did they do wrong? Nothing. Yes. And even if you don't get blown up, what happens when your father's blown up? Or your brother's blown up? Or your kid's blown up? Yeah. Why? What happens? For what? And the worst part is every single time this happens, it's always for nothing. It's always for nothing. Just for nothing. Ganchin says the powers of the president will need to be limited after Trump since Congress don't have this money to do so. Yes, but they won't. You're right, but no. Yes. Mike says, Larry agrees, I think. Don't freak out. Times like this, stay calm and think things through. True. Seek credible info that is confirmed by multiple sources. That's why I was looking around because I couldn't find it, Mike. You're right. Height will be flying fast and hard in the next couple of days. Yes. Mike's correct. He's correct. Phil says, Amash for president. Let's make it happen, brother. I'm in. Make it happen, Phil. Make the call. Maybe I'll reach out to him. Maybe I will. No, I'm gonna leave him alone. He's not gonna listen to me. I've tried to get Amash to be the LP chair like 6 times. He's not doing it. He's not doing it. Yeah, I've been trying. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Grand Rapids. You don't like Muslims, do you? All right. The Catholics should have dismantled the Muslim government a long time ago. What? We saw the Ottoman Empire and Crusades. It was for a point. They impressed their own people with their BS religion. Okay, that's not true. You've just, again, this is just not accurate. The Ottomans were very specific in how they dealt with it, which is why Yugoslavia is the way it is. That's the proof of what I'm saying. The Ottomans, their version depends upon which Muslim leadership they're talking about, right? When it came to the Ottomans found that their way was, if you are a person of the book, which is in the Quran. I don't know if you've ever read the Quran, but in the Quran, it's people of the book, which means Abrahamic religions. So Christian, Jews, Muslims. In Islam, those people are separate. They're like, you're a person of the book or you're the other. That is how the Quran speaks of people. Now, how the Ottomans took it is if you're the person of the book, you're not authorized to just murder them or kill them. But if you're a person of the book, but you're not a Muslim, we can oppress you. That's true, but you oppress in certain ways, which means, okay, you want to have a business license, you got to be a Muslim. Oh, you want to be able to own this property in the city, you got to be a Muslim. They would do things like that. So they would punish you not via physical punishment, but through law and through dollars. That's what the Ottoman Empire did. So they didn't force you to be Christian. They didn't force you to be Jewish. They didn't force you to be Muslim. But if you weren't a person of the book, okay, you might get offed. But if you were a person of the book, they didn't kill you. There were thriving Christian and Jewish settlements and groups throughout the Ottoman Empire. Now, why were there settlements? Because within their own world, they weren't bothered. But when you move into the Muslim cities, which many of them were, you had to really be a Muslim to be able to function effectively, which is why if you look at when Yugoslavia broke down, what happened? You had a bunch of cities fighting the outskirts. Why? There were Muslims in the cities and Orthodox Christians and Catholics outside the cities. That's what happened. So what you're saying is simply not accurate. It's not how it worked. The Ottoman Empire was not aggressively anti-people of the book. It was pro-Muslim and anti-people who are not of the book. That's true. But what you're saying is not accurate. And the data is there. So Liberty says, I would vote Namaz Sharpe ticket all effing day. Me too. Me too. I completely agree. Yes, I'm in. I don't have to be on a ticket. I'm happy. I would say yes to that ticket in a heartbeat, but I'd be happy to just support that ticket. Either way, I would take any of that. So Robert says, what is the responsibility for the third parties if they can't find footing in the midst of all this chaos? Because sabotage from duopoly aside, does it prove they weren't serious? No, it proves they weren't prepared. That's the issue. The problem that we have in third parties, Robert, and it's one of the reasons why when it comes to third populars, I'm actually pretty popular. Why? Not because I'm super smart or because I'm good looking. I mean, I am super good looking, but that's not the reason why. The reason why is because I've been around so long. Very few people run and stay. Very few. I'm one of the oddballs who's done it more than I've been running and or been around this party straight for 13 years now. Most people don't do this. What they do is they walk in, run once, leave. They either don't run again or quit, or they go to Republicans, Democrats, they leave. So what does that mean? We don't have institutional knowledge required to fight duopoly. Every time we fight duopoly, we're starting from scratch. And the rules are terrible and the rules are horrible. And we're starting from scratch every single goddamn time. So we keep losing. We're not ready for it. We are serious. We just aren't prepared. It's a serious battle. That's the issue. So, all right. Garrett coming in hot. Look at you, brother. I love it. 10 memberships, guys. Grab the memberships if you would. Pick these up. The memberships matter tremendously. Grant coming in hot again. I appreciate it. I'm glad you came on Saturday night, rocking and a rolling. I love it. It is very important that you guys pick these memberships up. I ask you all the time to do several things to support the show. I want more people to see this. I feel like I am often just screaming into the wind. I've been telling you what's going to happen, and it keeps happening. For those of you, a lot of you started watching me last year when I was a surrogate for RFK Jr. Some of you have been watching me since 2016. No matter what, the people have been watching me. You've been seeing so far, literally every single thing I've said national level that I've talked about has come to pass. Everything. And people don't want to pay attention. Why? Because I've been shadow banned since the lockdowns. Since the lockdowns. I lost 90% of my viewership in 2020. 90% gone. Gone. I've been trying to raise it up, trying to fight back. Suppose YouTube's trying to be good again. I hope they are. How do you help me out? Number one, click that like button. Click that button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Click that damn button. It does matter. If you don't click it, you like war. Don't like war. It's not good. Click the button. It's important. You can also share this someplace. Repost it someplace. Share it on X. Repost it to a Facebook group. Whatever it is. Put it someplace else. Email it to your friend. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is. If you haven't followed me on Facebook, X, and Rumble, please do. So I'm trying to get more people on Rumble. I'm trying to break the 500 on Rumbles because Rumble allows me to say more, but I don't have enough big enough of a viewership there. So I need more people on Rumble so that can grow. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the Sharpe Way YouTube, subscribe. Click all notifications. And of course, become a member. Remember our rule of membership when you get free memberships, right? A lot of people give out free memberships. I appreciate it. Garrett is the champ of this. Oh my God, 10 tonight. When you take it, here's the rule. If you made $20 million in 1 year, last year or this year, you don't get to have it. Sorry. That's the cutoff. You made 19 million, you could take it. You made 20 million, don't take the free membership. Go buy the membership. It's $49. What are you doing? You made $20 million. Stop being cheap. If you made $20 million, become a member, $49 per month. The world's not going to end. Click the join button. But if you didn't make 20 million, take one of Garrett's. All good. All good. Just make sure. Garrett, you are the man. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate all your support. You are really killing it and helping us to move forward. I appreciate it. So yes. All righty. Ganjan says, Tulsi Gabbard probably wondered what the F I signed up for. No, I think she kind of knew some of this. So yeah. All righty. Let me keep going. Ryan says, Larry, do you think RFK Jr. would have stayed in the race if he had gotten LP nomination? It's a good question. It's a good question. Odds are, I think, yes. Why do I think yes? I think he would have actually been able to raise even more money and got more support. So maybe yes. The question is, and again, I called this back in April. This was my third or fourth cycle when it comes to presidents. Here's how it actually works, Ryan. So people know this. If you are a green or a libertarian, you know you're running to the end no matter what. Doesn't matter. Constitution Party, you're running to the end. You know you're going to lose. You run to the end no matter what. You raise as much money as you can, make as much impact as you possibly can make, and you move forward. But if you're not that, if you're a regular independent, you're not someone who's actually a third party, which is what RFK was. Come August, there's only three options. One, you are flush with cash. You got tons of people that believe in you, that throw money at you. A la Ross Perot, he had his own money, that kind of stuff, right? Stuff like that. You have tons of cash. Option number two, you're in the debates, right? A la Jesse Ventura in Minnesota, right? Like that, right? One of those two. Or three, you drop out. That's it. That's what happens. You drop out. RFK Jr. was not flush with cash. He was not in debates. Dropped out. That's how it works. I wish there was another answer, right? But unless you're a member of a party, the party knows it's going to lose. Its infrastructure is made for it, right? The Libertarian Party's infrastructure is made for that. Green Party's made for that. Constitution Party made for that. They're made for that. So they will keep going. So LP, but here's the issue. For him to get the LP nomination, he would have had to work on that a year before. None of his people believe that. They didn't understand it. The problem that RFK Jr. had, which is common for many people who aren't in this world, is they think, well, if I run independently, I'll just hire experienced people. So I'll hire Democrats, Republicans. Biggest mistake. If any of you decide to run independent, do not hire Republicans, Democrats. Don't do that. Hire independents like me and other independents. I will give you the people to hire. You hire independents because they know how this works. They hired Democrats, Republicans, and they said, we'll just go to the Libertarian Party and we'll say, look at our awesome king. Please, put a crown on his head. That's not how Greens work. That's not how Libertarians work. We don't do that. If we cared about winning in power, we wouldn't be Greens, Democrat, and Libertarians. We'd be Republicans, Democrats. They don't get that. So he would have had to work 6 months to a year before that to make that happen. And if he had done that, he would have gained enough grassroots to where his people plus Libertarian people together could have made some impact. So maybe. Plus, we would have already sued everybody that we had to sue already because we always do it. So his lawsuits were late. He didn't know any better because his people didn't know. So there we go. Mastermind says General Zuckerberg is amassing his troops. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he's gonna do a massive one. Yeah, absolutely. All righty. Yusuf says, I don't believe that about the Saudis. Back in the early aughts, Israel had a lot to do with the project Noem. I don't know what that is in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I'm not sure they're actually enemies either, to be fair with you, but they're supposed to be enemies. So yeah, maybe they're supposed to be. There we go. All righty. Space Jason has off the topic. He says, Larry, thoughts on Hochul's psychotic announcement about providing up to $50 million in legal aid for illegals to fight deportations. It's right on brand. Why wouldn't she? Totally on brand. She'll pay no price for that. Totally on brand, Space. Totally on brand. It's who she is. Totally on brand. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. Yeah, 100%. P says, I don't think I would have found your show, Larry, if it wasn't part of the Kennedy campaign. I have so many reasons to be grateful. Oh, thank you for that, my friend. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's great. I do like that. A lot of people did come board because of that, and I'm happy they did. So, all right, let me go down here if I can. Robert says, when the Republicans treated Ron Paul like he had one foot in the grave and the other in the foot in senility, I knew the Republican Party wasn't ish. Yeah. Kintsugi says they love it because they're not affected and they make money from it. And they make money from it. Both are true. Yes, absolutely. Mike says, if the goal was to destroy nuclear abilities and the U.S. took out all facilities, even the mountains, it is possible no more action by U.S. Iran will be busy with Israel, so maybe limited for U.S. All right. Let's assume for a moment that America can actually trash all the nuclear abilities. Maybe it's true. They can. They knock them all out. Okay. I mean, I don't see it, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they know something I don't know, and they can go, trash all of it. Okay, got it. Good. It's all gone. Does America just walk away now? Maybe you're right. Maybe America goes, okay, done our job. Thanks, guys. Done. Have a nice day. And just walks away. That could happen. That's something America could do. Right? Walter from Afghanistan, Walter from Vietnam could do it. What's Israel going to do? They're going to walk away too? Okay, so they do. They walk away. Great. Okay, so what stops them from just reconstituting everything and rebuilding? You have to somehow create a system to where you can either monitor or control. What Trump said, what he said was, and unless he's going to change his mind again, if he changes his mind different, if he doesn't change his mind, what he said was unconditional surrender. What does unconditional surrender mean? It means we get to occupy your country. How do I know that? That's what happened when the last time we had unconditional surrender. Unconditional surrender means we occupy Germany. We occupy Japan. We occupy Italy. That's what it means. So if he gets unconditional surrender, there will physically be some form of NATO, UN, Israeli, American, whatever, troops in Iran monitoring these sites. That will be there. Somehow that will be there. Or he backs away from that, in which case, what stops them? Okay, say you bomb it all. It's all bombed, boom, all blown up. Great. Mike, if it's you, if you're in charge of Iran, you're their mullah, you're their leader, you're the Ayatollah, you're their civilian leadership. I don't care. You're the military leadership. I don't. But you're part of leadership. And America bombs the shit out of all your nuclear power, all of it, all of your nuclear facilities, all of it, gone, blown to pieces. You got nothing left, and walks away. What are you gonna do? You know what you're gonna do. You're gonna sneak your way and do whatever it takes to get a bomb anyway. Yes, you are. It's what I would do. It's what you would do. It's what they're gonna do. Guaranteed, within 2 years, they got a bomb. Guaranteed. 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 We've just made it sure. So maybe they'll be limited U.S., maybe, but then they're going to bomb again. We're going to bomb again. We're just going to bomb them in perpetuity. At one point, they get tired of that. At one point, they get desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. And at one point, the rest of the world goes, why do you get to bomb Iran and we don't? Why do you do what you want and we don't? Why? Russia's saying right now, Russia is saying, why do you get to bomb Iran, but we can't bomb Ukraine? China's saying, why do you get to bomb Iran? We don't get to bomb Taiwan. That's what they're saying. And at one point they go, well, then we're just doing it. You did. We're gonna. Who are you? Who are you to tell me I can't bomb people I want to bomb when you get to bomb people you want to bomb? Who are you? We lose the moral high ground here. In fact, we lost it already. I mean, we lose. We lost it already. We've already lost it. We've lost it. We've already lost the moral high ground. It's already gone. So Phil says Lindsey Graham loves a man uniform. True. True. Yes. Absolutely true. 100%. All righty. Let's see here. Claire Underwood reposted this trip. Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Please, more people do that. Yes. Dave says many Americans are also converted to Eastern Orthodoxy. Yes, very true. I'm Eastern Orthodox. And it's true. Yes, we're seeing an improvement there, but mostly men. When it comes to Islam, it's mostly women. Yeah. And you might go, women, why would they do it? And one of the things you do see is when women, and I did a video on this, because you don't remember, you can go check it out. It's about religion. And one of the women often say they actually feel more respected. I know it seems weird, but that's what they say. Yes. Yeah. Grant says blacks converting to Islam faster than whites. Is that a stupid metric for you? Next. That's not stupid metrics. I know you just want to say it. But why are black people converting to Islam faster than whites? Because of prison. That's why. The next group, here's your next one metric. Military members are converting to Islam faster than non-military members. Why? Wise ass. Because they're overseas and they saw the people in those countries. And what they respected was their dedication. They saw those guys die. They saw those guys fight. And they said, I respect that shit. Maybe they got something better. My system's not working. They saw their system not working. And they went, this system actually gives me some purpose. This, and you might go, Larry, how can you? It's true. I'm not making this shit up. It's true. They see this as a system. So my next stupid metrics is that one. I hope it made you happy. I love how people always think, I'm going to get Larry on this one. Dude, I'm glad you're here. You're not going to get me. It's not how it works. So yeah, that's not kind of how it works, but that's okay. I'm glad you're here. Keep coming. Oh, good. All right. Mike says behave on religion garbage. I know he's being a bit aggressive. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. And look, it's all good. I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he's there. There we go. I'm happy he's here. All righty, let's keep going here. Grand Rapids goes, no sounds that's how the country has turned gay by not talking about it, bud. The country turned gay because talking about religion? That's what happened? You're entertaining, dude, but you making stuff up now. So the country turned gay, which it hasn't, but okay, I guess it did because you say so. Because it wasn't talking about religion. That's why it turned gay. Okay. I mean, what's funny about this is you believe this and you say this out. You're like saying this out. I thought maybe you were trolling. You're actually not trolling. Like you could tell. I could tell what you're putting out. You actually believe this. You're like, yeah, I'm right. You actually think that. That's funny. It's not true, but it's fine. Yeah. He goes, yeah, women are converting because they're probably forced to. No, women in America and women in the UK are converting. They're not forced to. They're choosing to. They want to. Our military men are turning Muslim, not because they're forced to. They want to, dude. I know you don't want to believe it. You're like, no one would hate my religion. My religion is perfect. That religion is terrible. No. People do what they want because they gain some type of glory from it in some way, shape, or form. Something like that. That's why they do it. So yeah, that's the reason. So yeah. Anyway, let me keep moving on if I can. I appreciate your stuff. It's all good. All right, let me keep moving. Dave says CNN is reporting that Trump will address the nation at 10 p.m. Will there be a Larry Sharpe response? Ooh, maybe it should be. Maybe there should be. I haven't really thought of it. Maybe I will. Either I'll do it tomorrow or maybe do it later tonight. I don't know. Let's see. Phil says Sikhs keep a sword in a turban. Not true. Stop that. Telling you jokes. They don't. They carry it on their person. They don't. They carry it on their person. Yes. Missy says, if you believe what Larry is saying, and you should, please like the video. Yes, she's right. Guys, like that video. Like that video. Yes. User says Sikhs are pretty chill. I like Sikhs. I've known many of them here. I've worked with a couple of them. I'm surprised the amount of Sikhs who are in IT. Right? Yes. And then Gurkhas are great. They're savage. True. That's why I bought a kukri knife and I kept it in the armory in the Marine Corps. So we go in the field. When I was a sergeant or below, we have rifles. Staff sergeants, you carry a pistol. So I would carry my rifle and my kukri. So when we would actually go into simulated combat, I'd have a kukri in one hand and my rifle in the other. Yes, I would. And they all knew who I was. I was the only idiot with a kukri in his hand. So yes, I know, kind of weird, but that's how I know so much. I loved it. Absolutely true. Yes. Let me see if I can grab this here if I can. Ryan, thank you for $2. Our system is FUBAR. Correct. FUBAR, by the way, means effed up beyond all recognition. That's what FUBAR stands for. Effed up beyond all recognition. True. To go facts, thank you for $5. Found you on Joe Rogan. What was your impression of him, and how did that appearance change your audience? Good question. I'm gonna tell you a true story. It's kind of weird here. Oh, hold on. Before I go to that, thank you, Peace Legend, for give the subscription here over on Rumble. If you're on Rumble, guys, if you want to grab one of those, please. Thank you, Peace, for that. I appreciate your gift, my friend. Rogan, interesting piece with Rogan. When Rogan first, when I first heard about Rogan in 2018, I'm running for governor. Rogan likes my ideas on how to fix the state. That's why he liked it. He loved my idea for the bridges, like my idea for schooling, my K through 10 plan, loved my policies, right? So I find that my team tells me I'm going on Rogan. I didn't know, Duke, how powerful he was. I didn't. Like, I was such a noob. I was a business guy. I wasn't making this stuff. So literally I was like, Joe Rogan, this is what I said. The Man Show guy? Literally what I said. The Man Show guy? They were like, dude, it's one of the greatest, biggest podcasts in the world. Oh, sorry. I thought he was the man. I remember from the Man Show. I liked Joe. I thought he was a funny guy. I liked him, right? I didn't know him personally, but I liked him. I watched the show. I thought, okay, no, he's a funny comedian. I knew the guy. I liked him. But like, no. I said, oh, it's popular? Okay. I was like, great. Then there's some homework on it. I was like, oh, God, this is popular. Like, after I checked, I honestly didn't know. So I was campaigning every single day. It was crazy. 2019 was mad. I'd go out for like 9 days straight and not come back for 9 days. I was campaigning so long. It was insane. So I was campaigning always. So I flew in that morning. At that point, he was still in California. Now he's in Austin. Austin or Texas or Dallas? No, Austin. He's in Austin now. But he was in LA then. So I fly in that morning. I show up. Never met the guy. He's late. I'm not. I'm early. So I'm in his green room. I'm just sitting there chilling out on my phone or whatever I was doing. He comes in, literally, door opens. He goes, Sharpe here. I went, yeah, right here. He said, okay. Brought me in. I sat down in his thing, put the headphones on. He goes, 3, 2, 1, Larry Sharpe. That's how he did it. No prep, no talk before, no nothing. We just went right into it. Boom. That was it. That's how we started. And we talked for 2 hours. I insulted him. I did. Then at the end, when we were done, I don't know what he has now, but back then he had a big pool table there and like a big fake stuffed bear and stuff. We shot pool like one game. And then I got my Uber and I went on the plane and came back to campaign again. I was still campaigning. I was hardcore campaigning. So I flew in, did the show, flew back that same day so I can keep campaigning. And what was huge for me was my YouTube. I had probably about 12,000 people follow me on YouTube before that show. After that show, I had like 24,000, about doubled my YouTube. That's how popular that show was for me. It doubled my YouTube. I went from like 12,000, like 25,000 in the course of like 3 days. My other things also exploded, but nowhere near the level. YouTube was my biggest group, my biggest explosion. It was literally, it doubled my YouTube. That's what happened. So I hope I answered your question. What was my impression of him? I'm sorry, I asked that one too. My audience did change a bit. Sorry, 2 pieces. My audience. My audience had a lot more younger men in it. In fact, I remember, and it still happens once in a while to this day. And it's been 8 years now. Sometimes it still happens. 7 years. It does. Where I'm walk down the street and a car will drive by, the windows roll down, and some young guys yell out, "Regulate like onions, Joe Rogan." I'll still get that sometimes, probably once or twice a year. That will happen to me still. People remember me from Joe Rogan and my regulate weed like onions. That's what I said. And literally, I still get that sometimes. It used to happen a lot in 2020, 2022, when it was more new. People do it. Now it's probably once a year, maybe it happens. It used to happen once a month or so. I'd be walking around the Astoria, Queens, someplace, and some young guy would go, "Oh, I saw you on Rogan, man. Regulate like onions." That was the big deal. Regulate like onions. So younger men saw me then. I think that was one thing. And my impression of him was, what you see is who he is. Like, he doesn't, that if you think he has like some type of left or right leaning, that's not who he is. He literally is what he says. He wants to talk to people he wants to talk to. That's accurate. That's my impression. He really is the guy he wants to be. That's it. He's that guy. And he actually is curious. I think it's not a show. That's my impression. So, and one of the reasons why he's good at what he does is because of that. So, yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can grab this if I can. All righty. Let me keep going down here. Oh, sorry. Mike took care of him. Okay, okay, good to go, Mike. No worries. All good. I'm glad you took care of him. Mike took care of him. All good. Sorry, Grand. I didn't mind you stayed, but you at one point you get too far and you got to go. So you had to go. There we go. Anyway, there we go. He's gone. All good. All righty. Let's see here. Dave says, Larry, was it the Sikhs that were guarding the salt works in India? Yes, we got it. That's correct. So they all had turbans. Correct. That was all Sikhs. Correct. They used them constantly. Sikhs are used constantly for that. I agree. Yes. Shin says, How to help a man dropped out of college and now living at home with parents. Man has no friends. Parents don't get tough, and man refuses help. He's in a situation for years, early 30s. Yeah, he's got to find a purpose, and that's not easy. Generally speaking, he needs an older man in his life that he respects to hold him accountable. Clearly, his father's not that person. Is there an uncle, a granddad, someone who's a family friend who he respects that can say, get up, man, come on, let's go. We got shit to do, come on. And will hold him accountable. That's his only answer. There is no other answer for him. It's that or terminally unhappy the rest of his life and probably self-destructive in some way, shape, or form. That's his only answer. I wish it was a better answer, but that's it. He has to find someone who he respects, and it must be an older man. Women will not work, and younger men will not work. It must be an older man that he respects. And then that person has to say, come here, I'm going to give you a chance, I'm going to hold you accountable. If that happens, he has a chance of success. Without that, he does not have. I don't mean to be cruel. It's just true. So it's just true. Yes. All right. Paul says, in Muslim-ruled Iberia, which, by the way, if you guys don't know, Iberia is Spain and Portugal. That's the peninsula. Generally referred to as Al-Andalus, Jews were often treated as dhimmi, meaning protected people. Yeah, because they were people of the book. Yeah, people of the book are not allowed in most Muslim, that's not all Muslim areas, but the Ottomans believed that, and many others did too. If you are a person of the book, you can't just be killed. That's not a thing. That's how most of them believe that. So that's why they would say they're it's okay. So it goes on, right? Jews along with Christians were considered under Islamic rule. The status granted them the right to practice their religion and manage their internal affairs. Correct. That's why they often were together in groups, because they, as long as you weren't in the Muslim areas, you could fine. Just do your own thing. You're a person of the book. You're fine. You're not a person of the book. So, yeah, absolutely. 100%. All right. Let's see. Phil goes on to say, Amar Shanahan. I'm in. Amar Shanahan, I am in. 100%. Yes. I'm in. 100%. Yes. I'm in. No worries. The Liberty says, Garrett in the house being amazing. As he does. He is. It's true. He is. Garrett is in the house, killing it as always. Yep. Absolutely. Phil says, Garrett carpet bombing membership. True. True. Yes. Robert says, do you think Israel loses status amongst the global population because of what's happening? 100% yes. Israel lost the PR war over a year ago. They did not do a good job in PR at all. They had hubris, and it made them pay for it. And I'll give the example I can give you, which is when Afghanistan, before we invaded Afghanistan, we did something that's performative, but it matters tremendously. And Israel never did it and never stopped and never went back. And this is one reason why they're paying a heavy PR price for this. What is it? What happened? When we knew Osama bin Laden was in Afghanistan, what did we say? We went to Afghanistan and we said, okay, if you give us all the Al-Qaeda guys, we will not invade, we won't bomb. Just give it to us. We knew they wouldn't. We knew it. That's why we were still getting ready to invade. We knew they wouldn't. But that performative piece is critical for the world to see. It means I don't want to initiate the violence. If you do the right thing and give us the people, we won't invade. They might go, but Larry, they weren't gonna. That isn't the point. It is absolutely performative, and it 100% matters. And Americans, believe it or not, our diplomats knew that. So we did that. We gave them a deadline. We gave them an ultimatum, knowing they wouldn't do it. Now, what you're saying Israel should have? Yes. And people say, they would have never done it to Hamas. It doesn't fucking matter. It is performative, but it must be done. But the Israelis thought, we're Israelis. We don't do that shit. It's our October 7th. We're special and we're better. Well, you lost the PR war. What you were supposed to do was say, we're not going to invade Gaza. Give us all those people, and we won't. They wouldn't have, then you invade. And you might say, well, does that matter that much? Yes. Yes. Why did America do it? We knew they weren't going to give us Osama bin Laden. Of course not. If you saw what was happening, we were prepping for that invasion immediately. We didn't stop prepping. We, as I tell you, talk to your enemies. Don't stop fighting, but talk. And we did that. We talked to him while we were prepping for the invasion. We're still talking to him. Diplomats aren't involved in combat. They can keep talking while they start preparing for war. Israel should have done that. It didn't. And they have never stopped. They've never shown any humility. Israelis have shown no humility, nothing. And that's why the world is against them. The world isn't against them, but a bunch of the world's against them. They're losing, to your point, they're losing status because they just said, we're Israel. We do what we want. It's not okay. It's not okay. So yeah, I think yes, they are losing. And they've lost it. They've lost a lot of it. I agree. Yes. Let's see here. Mike says to that, UN will complain again. Russia and China will denounce the US and Israel. Nothing else really happens. Oh, France joins whatever China says. Yeah, it's true. But I think you look around the world and people are saying, I don't like this. Yeah. Kintsugi says, ironically, I found Larry Sharpe through Reddit. Reddit? That's kind of scary. Through the RFK Junior for Press group. Yeah, I'm a little scared of you now. Reddit? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. User says, would he have gotten at least Ross Perot numbers, though? I don't think so. To be forward, I do think that if RFK Jr. had run, I think fully, I think he could have broke 5%. I think he could have. I do think he could have, because he was polling at his highest about 19, at his lowest around 5. So if you average that out to 24, average to 12, that average to 12. Generally speaking, whatever you poll that, you get half. So he'd have polled that 12 average. He'd have got 6%. Is my thought process. He got 6%. Why does that matter? Because he would have then his party would have been a We the People party, and they would have been available for matching funds for 2028, which would mean an actual chance of victory in 2028. Right? I think 2024 he pulls 6%. That's my gut. I have no evidence of that. I've explained my logic behind that. You may agree or disagree, but that's my logic behind that. And I think that would have gotten him the 5% needed for a 2028 run where he would have had a chance at victory because he would have matching funds. Then he would have been able to have tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and maybe be able to actually win. So maybe. So yes. All righty. Missy says, I found Larry in 2017 when I joined the LP. Still here post LP. Missy's my ride or die. We've been together now 8 years. Yeah. She ain't going no. You ain't going nowhere, Missy. You ain't going nowhere. So yes. All right. Grab some more of these if I can. So many of these. I love it. Dave says, that's it for RFK Jr. He had to seek the LP nomination starting no later than December 2023 or January 2024. True. Yeah. He didn't get it. Not that his people didn't get it is what I'll say. His people didn't get it. Right. I don't know. He wasn't paying attention. I get it. So yes. All right. Matt says, I found Larry on Kim Iverson talking about RFK. I love Kim. I adore her. She is amazing. She's smart. She's savvy. And she doesn't care what she talks about. She will talk about anything. She will put anything on. She will do what she has to do. I love that. She doesn't care who she puts on. And she stood up for what she thought was right on Rising. I'm a massive fan. Kim, if you happen to be watching, I love you. You're amazing. You're awesome. Kim says, Kim Iverson is great. Yes, she's fearless. That's the good. She's fearless. Yes, yes, and yes. 100%. MW Knox says, never too late to walk away. I agree. Again, look, the advantage and disadvantage, they're both, of Trump is his base is very loyal. They are very loyal. If he walks away, they'll go with him. They will. He will not be punished if he walks away. His base is very loyal. He can do it. If anybody can, it's him. I hope he does. Yes. Mike says, at Larry, the historic pattern has been removal of facilities and personnel. Kicks the Iran program back years or a decade, and then we start over. Maybe, but then you're saying you're going to be bombing them every 5 years? And in the past, and I know you don't believe this, but they weren't trying to get a bomb. They would have got one already. They weren't. Why would they sign a nuclear proliferation treaty? They don't have to. Israel didn't. You don't have to sign a treaty. Israel didn't sign it. And no, they don't have to sign it anyway. Iran's already being treated as a pariah. Why bother signing the treaty? Don't sign it. You don't have to. Go get it. No need. Now I'm telling you, they will use all of their money, all of their time, all of their everything to get it now. They will happen in 2 years. No matter. It does not matter. Does not matter how bad we bomb them, Mike. We can bomb them to where there's not one stone left unbombed, they will still have one in 2 years. Maybe a year. Depends how bad we vote. They'll still have it. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because what else, if your sovereignty is that easily just disrespected and dismissed and broken, as we've just done more than once. We've just decided we can do whatever we want in your country. We don't care. Your leadership means nothing. We can murder your scientists. We can murder your people. You have no power. There is no doubt you do anything that is your number one state priority. Guarantee it. We've threatened, the idiot Trump threatened to kill the Ayatollah. How stupid is that? Anything to do it. It will be their number one priority over anything. That's it. Little Lady says, I found Larry before the 3 LP candidates ran for city council in Jackson 2022. I remember that, yes. Then I invited Larry to their rally and he got on a plane and came down to Florida. I did, it's true. He's been my Liberty mentor since. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. Honest question, did people really not see this coming? I spent the last week crying about this because I saw it coming. I was just hoping so badly that I was wrong. I was hoping that it wouldn't work. I didn't want it to happen. So, that's the issue. So, any case, Ganges says, I think Grant is trolling. I don't think so. I mean, trolls say certain things that keep going. I think he was serious. I think it was serious. I do. I think he's serious. That's okay. Look, I get it. I'm glad he's here. I hope he comes back. Guys, I put the trolls up front. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy they come in, right? I want people who are not libertarian to be here talking to me about things that I care about. I want them to come back, right? I do. It clearly matters to me. Look, I could just become some guy who just screams all libertarian stuff all day and only wants libertarians to be here. There's 1,000 of them out there. I don't want to be that guy. There's 1,000 of them out there. I don't want to be that guy, right? I want to make sure that I want people to see what we're talking about. So yes, Larry, there are Black Eastern Orthodox priests. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And there are people who convert. There are Black people who convert to Eastern Orthodox. It's true. But when it comes to the religions, more Black people go Islam. And many of them, not all, but many of them, it's from prison. Many of them, not all, but many of them are. It's true. Genji says, I found Larry on Lions of Liberty when I was exploring libertarianism. Look at that. You guys are finding me all over the place. I adore that. That's amazing. So if you find me and you like me, click the button known as like. Do that. I like that. Yusha says, I knew him from Fear Factor. Fear Factor, yes. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, Missy was there. She goes, we were so stoked about getting Rogan and Larry was all unbothered. Missy was there at the time. That's true. Yes, I did. I was like, oh, okay. This is true. She was there. Yep. Mastermind says Larry was afraid he was going to have to eat hissing Madagascar cockroaches. Yeah, those could put me on Fear Factor or something. Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but yeah, that is true. It was a lot. It was. Missy says the 2018 campaign was incredible. Yeah. Absolutely. So, any case, we'll keep going on. Mike says YouTube knows everyone's looking for political commentary and news, so a ton of ads now. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't decide on the ads. If they're popping up all over the place, I apologize. It's not where I'm not trying to do that. That's not my goal. I apologize. But guys, I can stop monetizing this if I get more members. So if you want to stop that, we could have more members, and then more members. I don't need to monetize this. See? Membership is very easy. You can grab one of Garrett's, which is awesome. And then once that membership goes away, you can renew on your own if you want to, right? Always. And if you haven't already grabbed one of Grant's, because Garrett's, he's already great, he already does it, you can just click $49, click the join button. $49 is what it costs. Easy day. You can do it. You can do it. It's easy if you want to. Or you say, Larry, I love you, but I'm not prepared to give you $5 a month. Okay. You prepared to click a button? Click that button. That's your prepared to do. You do that, right? Click that button. It's fine. Easy. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. If you love me, you do that. If you don't click it, you don't love me. And I'm hurt by that. And now I'm angry at you. See, you don't want that. Click the button. Also share this someplace else, or you like ads. See, Mike says it. It's Mike's fault, not mine. Mike's fault. If you don't share this or repost this, you like ads. I don't know why you like them. Terrible. Just saying. Terrible. So, yes. Anyway, Mike goes on to say, no, Israel wanted to assassinate Ayatollah. Trump said no, unless I missed the new news. He said, what he said was, we won't yet. That's what he said. And he put in his thing, kill. I showed it on the show the other day. He said, kill. His words, kill. He put it there. Yes. Shin says, Larry, what if the man is also mentally ill but refuses to get treatment? It stands. Even if he's mentally ill, it doesn't matter. Unless he is physically incapable of understanding, like he's that broken that he can't understand, it will still require and how do I know this? I have done this myself. Mike, by the way, is a Marine just like I am. And both of us in our different ways have mentored Marines. I've mentored a lot of vets too, mostly Marines. Mike, I know, is mentored the vets, but heavily Marines too. When you mentor people like that, many of them do have mental issues, right? Whether it's PTSD, whether they're on some type of form of psychotropic drug, it's common. But it doesn't matter. It is an older male that they respect, and he goes, time to do something else. Come on, let's go. That's the answer, right? So that stands either way. Either way, it stands. Kintsugi says, I want to attend an Orthodox church, but I feel like I'd be the only black person. I feel awkward. It's sometimes true. It does happen. There are not many black people in the Orthodox church. You're not wrong, but they exist. I'm one of them. They exist, but you're right. And sadly, many of them are married in. So yeah, it's true. So, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't go. The advantage of the Orthodox church, I think in general, that I've seen, for me, it's very different from what I grew up in. It's not very interactive. It's almost like you're watching it and you're part of the show a little bit. Like you're like watching the show and you're like part of it here or there. So yeah. But look, I think you should go. I think they'll be very welcoming. I've seen them be very welcoming. You might be the only black person. It does happen, but you'll be special, Kintsugi. See, I'm special when I go. You're special when you go. See, done deal. You're special. All good. So, all right. Shin says, Larry, should our culture be trying to change beauty standards in terms of encouraging more healthy body image and also shifting away from Eurocentric beauty standards? That's nothing to do with anything. That means nothing. To be forward, the vast majority of beauty standards are set by women, not by men. Women blame men for it's absolute garbage. Women set beauty standards. Men don't. Most men, the vast majority of men, do not want women who are fully done up the way they're done up, who don't care what their fashion is. The vast majority of men do not care about any of this stuff at all. I'm just being very forward. They don't care if you're perfectly this or perfectly that. They want you to be good looking enough for them. That's it. And that could easily be in their own eyes, how they judge 6, 7, or 8. They don't care. They want you to be nice. They want you to be nice. They want you to not be some boss babe who treats them like an accessory. They want you to be nice. They want you to be loving. They want you to care about them. They want you to be empathetic. And good looking enough. The beauty standards is something women made that up. I'm not making this up. Women made that up. Women spend all this time deciding they got to look this. You see that the women do it on TikTok all the time, that get ready with me and you put the makeup on. No men like that. Men don't like that. That's a woman thing. You are competing with yourself. So, no. Beauty is, generally speaking, beauty is internal, meaning the person believes it themselves. Like, I think someone's good looking. And then Mike might look at that same woman and go, eh. And I might look at that woman and go, knockout, right? The same woman. But they're generally true. Men like a nice smile, a woman who tries to put herself together. She doesn't be super put together, just put together a little bit. And they're pretty much good. They're pretty much good. They might ogle super put together women. Doesn't mean they want to date them. They might want to sleep with those women. Doesn't mean they want to date them. Generally speaking, men want to sleep with 10s, but marry 8s. That's a good general rule. It's not a 100% rule, but they want to sleep with 10s and marry 8s. Well, I think somebody put together hot, sexy women got no man, or get used and abused all the time, because men don't want 10s. They want to sleep with them. But they want to marry 8s. Generally speaking. And the perfect world for a man is an 8 who thinks she's a 6. Oh. Home run for a man. Home run. Anyway, just thought that. Just my 2 cents. So, any case. Guys, I'm going to ask one more time if I could. Please click the button known as like. I've been bugging you forever to do so. Please do it. It does matter. Please share this. If you haven't already shared it, please share this. It does matter. Thank you for all the super chats. They're amazing. If you want to become a member, it helps tremendously. Please do that if you want to. I'm glad all you guys who are watching over on who are watching over on Instagram, those who are watching on Rumble, thank you for all of that. I appreciate it. Remember, the algo loves something. It loves very much. It loves tremendously when you comment after the live is over. So I'm asking you to comment on what we talked about so much stuff today, but comment on one or two things. You pick the one. Either what do you think about men checking out, or what do you think is going to happen with the Iran war? Are we going to walk away like Mike says, or we're going to sit there and try to put boots on the ground? So either Iran war about that, or what's going on with men walking away. And remember, if you're watching this and it's not live, you can see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them immediately for about 8 minutes or so. The algo loves that too. I may come on later on tonight or tomorrow, which I wasn't gonna, depending on what Trump says in about 20 minutes. I will see you all very soon.